Hello, welcome back to another full flap live stream. Ladies and gents, well, let's be real, gents, welcome back to an evening stream in the Southwest 737-700, with the idea being that we'll do a nighttime landing in San Diego because that's what you guys wanted. So, Oscar, welcome, dude. Pirate's Discretion, howdy. Classic Sim Jet Pilot, just in time. I need to watch more of these. The pneumatic panel is the bane of my sim existence. Yeah, dude, it's the bane of most 737 pilots' existence, and we're gonna get into it a little bit, doing some hot weather ops out of Reno today. So this is the stream to tune into. 98133, do a flight into Edwards. I would love to. I just need a military airplane for Flight Sim 2020 or 24 that is decent and worth streaming. So, Oscar, yeah, I agree. We do need the a big update for the 7.3. But I've been flying the 777 a lot, and it gives me faith that the updated 7.3 will be something really good. So, Pete Ski, welcome, dude. Oh, hey. There's one lady in here. The wife decided to tune in. Hey, have fun at Habit Burger, babe. Pirates Discretion. Have you tried the default C-17? I have not. I should jump in it, but I'm more of a fighter guy. So I'm looking for something a little faster than the C-17. Maybe an F-14. So we'll see about that. Anyway, we'll get the sim sounds turned up here and get those going. I've been fighting some sound balance issues, so let me know how that's going, and we'll jump in the airplane and get started here. So battery's coming on. Wait for the electrical panel to fire up. We got 24 volts. Ground power is good, 400 hertz, 116 volt AC. So we'll get that on the bus. That is all firing up, and we there's a stick shaker going off. We'll wait for the get the leading edge devices going. We'll spin up the IRSs, get those cooking, get those in nav. EECs are looking good. They're down to guarded passenger oxygens at normal. We got 1,000 psi or better on the crew oxygen. Test the flight recorder. That looks good. Mock airspeed test. And we'll hold there because we have to test the stick shakers. And we will we'll wait till we have AC power for that. Sitting down in the seat, first thing that I typically do is I do the check these lights and then check the oxygen mask. Otherwise, I'll forget it. And we'll get our EFB set up while the airplane's kind of getting squared away there. So we'll request our data from SimBrief. We'll fire up departure. So we're taking off out of Reno. We just need the 10.9 page. Don't need the ODP because I'm going to be using my company EDP, engine out departure procedure, out of here. So that's what we will use. For departure, we're using the Zephyr 9 Darby. So we'll get the Zephyr 9 pulled up. Don't need a star for the approach. We'll just put the ILS to 17 right back up. And then for the arrival, we're going down into San Diego. So 10.9 page, don't need a SID. I think we're on the comics. Yeah, comics 2 from Hulk. And we'll do the Loke to 27. And that's that. So the EFB is all set up for us, squared away, and now we can jump into the FMS and start going there. First thing I'll do is I'll turn the VORs off. I wish there was a way to modify the default switch positions in the PMDG cold and dark thing, because those switches should default to off, and then the nav radios should have a 1080 in them by default. So there we go. Okay, we're going to dive into the FMS. Why is my McDo not working here? Oh, unless, did I unplug it by accident? Let's see, I may have unplugged it. Let's just try that. Am I using any shaders? No, I am not using any shaders. Oh boy, that's interesting. Not sure why that just happened. I'm not using any shaders, but I do have a different color on the attitude indicator, and the textures of the cockpit are non-standard. They're off of the TO. It's the CFD texture mod for the 737. But no shaders other than that. Just yellow sim at its finest. So. For some reason, my WinWing McDo is not playing well. There it goes. FMC. Okay, excellent. Nav data out of date. Cool. That's a good way to start. So we'll go. We'll update the nav data. Thank goodness that PMDG has given us the ability to update nav data inside the sim. That is huge. So. Okay, there we go. Nav data is up to date. That's good. You check that in the real world as well before you get fired up. So the active database looks good. We'll go position initialization. Reno, that's Romeo, November, Oscar airport. And we'll go get the GPS position and plug it in there so the IRS can keep going. Your Sim CFI. Yo, welcome, dude. Welcome to the stream. Flight plan request. Oh, you know, we've got to get the SimBrief jazz going again because we updated our nav data. So we'll do that. We'll go flight plan request, SimBrief, and we'll set the payload, set the fuel, select the route. And weather in San Diego looks nice today, so we don't need to worry about an alternate. But we're going to carry gas for LAX just in case. You know, I mean, we're flying over it, so shouldn't be a factor. And San Diego is also kind of a mess. So there we go. All right, route uplink is ready. We'll load that. Oh, Gus is here. Welcome. Yeah, dude, I did forget to send the start message, man. I'm sorry. You're on Bravo 10. Awesome. I am not flying online because I don't think you can do emergencies online, and I've got some emergencies loaded. So We're not flying online today, so I'm not going to be able to see you. But good to know that you're flying along with us. All right. Activate, execute. That is good. Unable required nav performance. That's a normal message until the IRS is aligned. We'll go to departures and arrivals, and they're taking off 17 right via the Zephyr 9. Darby, I believe. Let me check. Yep, Darby transition. Execute that, and then for the arrival, San Diego into the Loke 27 Lindy transition. And actually, you know what? Let's erase that. Let's do the RNAV Zulu 27 because that joins up at Cloman on the Comics 2 Hulk transition. So we'll do that. Departures and arrivals. Zephyr 9 Darby direct to, yep, that's exactly our route as well. You can, but you'll be banned. Nothing new. Yeah, dude, well, given that I'm on burner number like 7 with VATSIM, I'll probably skip that. All right. Perfinit request. SimBrief has us going up to 370. We'll check that, make sure it loads correctly. Okay. Load and execute. All right, so we got that. Trip altitude is 370. That all looks good. We'll go to the legs page, route data, and we'll upload our winds for cruise. And we've got a little bit of extra stuff we have to do in the box today as well, just because Reno is kind of a pain in the butt. Pirate's discretion, yeah, 100%, dude. We upload performance in the RealJet, and you upload it twice. So you upload it once just for initial performance calculations. So as you run through your pre-flight and everything, you can kind of get an idea that the numbers work, and then you get a final performance uplink with your takeoff data. So when we uplink our takeoff data, it starts with performance init, updates that per the final numbers, then N1, then takeoff. So forecast and load. All right, and we will execute that. Okay, so now we'll just do the standard stepping through, starting with the progress page. It's 465 miles. SimBrief says 457. That's close enough for government work. We'll start with the climb page. It is always bumpy taking off out of Reno, so we're going to do turbulence climb, which is 280 knots, 0.76 Mach. That's just our, numbers for the best ride and best structural safety as you're climbing out through bumpy air there. Once we get up to cruise, we'll put it 0.76 for now, but I'm anticipating that we'll accelerate to 0.79 once we're through some of the bumps. And then looking at the arrival, going into San Diego, the Comics does not have a airspeed on the descent, so we can do 0.76 or 3 hundo on the way down. So, yeah, Gus says the weight and data record is sent automatically at flight closeout by the gate agent. So all that stuff comes to us automatically. For the route, we'll check our clearance. Zephyr 9 Darby direct to Shafter, direct to Hulk. For the Comics 2 is what we're doing, and then we're picking up the Comics 2 at Cloman. Looking at the Zephyr. Over to you guys for checking this out on your own, but because I've got it pulled up on my my iPad here. But this, let's see, departure SID, pinned, SID Zephyr. Okay, so this is the departure that we're working with here. So it's basically just straight out to Zephyr and then straight out to Darby, right? So we will check that in the box here. So top altitude's 190, climb heading 167 to 449.20 feet, and then direct Zephyr on the depicted route. So it's going to be Zephyr, E-pose, then Casino. So E-pose is above 9,200, Casino's above 11.4, then Darby with no altitude restriction. Okay, so that is all squared away. So the leg page looks good. Now we'll go down to the fixed page. We don't have any en route fixes, but we are going to have to build this just colossal monstrosity of an engine out departure out of Reno in case we pop one on takeoff. So Gus says on performance optimized flights. So performance optimized being that you're weight restricted for, say, takeoff performance. So like if you're taking off out of, say, Vegas and it's hot and high, you will be payload optimized for takeoff performance because they basically don't want to put too many passengers on, then you're not able to take off, and then you have to kick a passenger off, taxi back to the gate. That's embarrassing. So for performance optimized flights or payload optimized flights, the flight needs to be closed out on time, -5, then dispatch approves it, and then get your info sent. So Cam MD80, howdy, full flap and chat, welcome. Hey, happy Saturday. Yeah, it's a weekend. We're actually we're streaming on the weekend, which is unusual for us. Okay, so the engine out, and this is company specific, so unfortunately I can't show you the chart, but it is not FMS coded on the Mighty 7.3. So if the engine fails above the MEA for the direction of flight, which is basically going to be our case today because we're going south, and the MEA, the minimum en route altitude southbound is, let's see on my chart, 14,800. So once we're above 14,000, basically we don't care and we'll just proceed on en route. If we lose an engine prior to 3 DME, then we're going to fly the IRNO localizer south to 3 miles. Then we're going to start a left-hand turn direct to Mustang. And then we're going to fly outbound from Mustang. And then if it fails after 3 miles, then we're going to continue straight ahead to Spoon and hold as published. So the first fix that we're going to do is, let's see, we'll do Spoon first. So SPOON is the first thing we're going to do. So Spoon, waypoint, the top one. We're going to zoom out on our map here so we can kind of see what we're building. All right, so, and we'll go plan view as well. Okay, so Spoon intersection, the airport's right here, there's Spoon. If we lose the engine after 3 nautical miles, we're just going to climb straight ahead to Spoon, and we're going to hold as published. If, Gus, yeah, we do, and we're going to get to that here in a second. So if the engine fails before 3 miles, then we're going to fly the localizer south, which means we have to put the localizer for 17 right into the nav radios. Okay, and that's going to be 110.9. So we'll go 110.9 in both nav radios, and we're going to take off with that up. Okay, and the course is going to be 167. So we'll spin this in. And this is the part that, you know, I had no idea that this kind of stuff occurred before I became an airline pilot. The contingency planning for losing an engine on takeoff, you know, I mean, I mean, knock on wood, you'd never have to do this, but you plan for it every single time. Okay, so if the engine fails before 3 miles, we're going to follow the localizer south to 3 DME. Then we're going to turn left direct to the Mustang 246 radial at 5.3 DME. So we're going to put in Mustang FMG radial 246 for 5.3. Okay. That's in there. And that's basically coming right back over the field. So this point right here. So what we're basically going to do is we're going to fly outbound to 3 DME, then start a left-hand turn back to effectively the departure end of the runway. And we're going to delay our cleanup until we're inbound to this point. So we're going to keep our engine, our configuration. We probably already raised the gear, but we're going to keep our takeoff flap configuration until we are inbound to this point. And then once we're inbound to that point, then we can start cleaning up. Once we've hit that point, then we can proceed direct to the 352 at 30. So 352 at 30, another ring coming in here. Okay, so we're going to go direct from this point to this point. So we're going to come off the runway, flip around, touch that point, now fly to this intersection, and we can do all this visually. And these fixed rings save us having to tune in the VOR the whole time. And then once we get there, we're going to do a final turn to let's see. Oh, and then we're going to follow the 352 outbound to 38 nautical miles on the 352 heading to 38. Right there. And then we're going to hold between those 2 points. So take off, maintain your configuration at 3 miles, turn left effectively back to the departure end of the runway. Once you hit that, you can start cleaning up, proceed to this point, then out here, and do a parallel entry to the hold, and do a right-hand hold right here as you figure out your life. So massive pain in the butt if we have to do it. We're also restricted to flaps 1 takeoffs only, which will factor into our performance data, which we're going to get to next. So we're going to go to our performance calculator, and we'll go Reno Tahoe runway 17 right. Interesting that that's different. Import the weather, and we're going to calculate. It's a flaps 1 takeoff, which is good because that's all that we can do out of there. So it's going to be a flap 1 takeoff selected temp 33. Now, for whoever was asking about data uplink, in our company we uplink our data. So you go to Perfinet, the data uplink's already automatically sent. You acknowledge it here, and this is a second performance init. So you get one during pre-flight, you get a second one during pushback when you get your final numbers. Then the N1 numbers are all data linked in, but we have to hand jam them, and I forgot what they were. TO33. Okay, so TO33, and then flap 1, and this is all data linked as well. And you just verify it off the paper. So 33, 35, 39, 6.7 on the trim. So we'll set that now. So there's 6. That's a lot of nose up trim. There we go, 6.7 on the trim, and 139 is our V2 speed, and that will go in here. All right, there's 139, and then the normal procedure is going to be a heading of 167, so we'll put that in as well. And we are going to LNAV the normal departure, so we'll select LNAV. All right. Yeah, PMDG, that's exactly right, man. Watch your knees. All right, I got myself with the trim wheel yesterday. I was kind of bummed because you don't really have anyone to blame when you do it to yourself. Okay, we're going up to 19,000 on the normal departure, and then here's a gotcha that you have to check for. So on the company pages, and so this is not written anywhere, it's just, well, it's written on the company pages, which is, think of company pages like a gouge sheet, if you will, right? Like a lessons learned kind of thing for how you want to operate non-standard at certain airports. It says, for 737 operations, select acceleration and thrust reduction to 3000 AGL. So we're going to do that on the takeoff page. Page 2, acceleration height. Typically we accelerate at 1,000. We're going to change that to 3,000, and we're going to change our thrust reduction as well to 3,000. Okay, so that's it. We're all squared away. On the 737 Classic, I recall that you need to check the min assumed temp. Like some situation, you wouldn't be able to go less than assumed 40. Because, so on the NG, it's the same way. If you're within, I forget what it is. I think it's 3 degrees of ambient. Then you don't want to take a derate because you can. No, that's an A220 limit. A220, you didn't want to derate if it was within 3 degrees of ambient, because then the performance computer could basically get confused between just toga and that derate. The NG has something like that, but I don't know it off the top of my head. But it's never a factor. The derate is usually fairly significant. So, mixed sesh. Question: the panel on the overhead that displays ground power, yeah, does that select the power being used, or it just display what's being? It just display. You're talking about this panel right here. This just displays what's being used, right? So like right now, ground power is what we're on. But if I change the selector to APU, the APU is off right now, but the airplane is still powered. So yeah, this is just a selector switch for what the gauge is displaying. So speaking of which, we'll fire up the APU and we'll continue with our overhead flow. So we'll check the stick shakers. So this is now the pilot monitoring doing this. The rest was pilot flying. Get the flight control switches down, yaw dampers on, alternate flaps are closed and guarded, that's off. Nav and display switches are normal and auto. Fuel pump switches, we got one on. Electrical panel, we got APU gen selected for display. Galley power is on. APU's firing up. Circuit breakers, emergency lights. Get the seat belts on. Window heats come on as well. Probe heats stay off. Anti-ice hide pumps will get B on for now because it's flight controls are getting blown around. And of note, so you can turn on the B pump on the ground. You just want to make sure the flap handle matches the flap position before you do it. And this keeps the flight controls from blowing around on the ground because they are reversible controls. You don't want to use the A pump though, because the A pump runs nose wheel steering, and so if you have the A pump on and you kick the tiller on the captain side, you could hurt somebody. So B pump only if you're going to run them on the ground. And you'll get a field diff press light, which basically says your control field between the A and the B systems are different because the A system is unpowered and the B system is currently powered. Got some doors open. That's fine. CVR test looks good. Voice recorder, we don't have that switch. Air conditioning panel is a little bit different in the 700. Let's start a clock so that we do our 2 minutes before we put the APU on. We'll get this set up once we have our 2 minutes of time on the APU. A's off, B's on is the norm. No, so typically this is the normal configuration, which is engine pumps on, electric pumps off at the gate, but the flight controls can get blown around, specifically the yoke can get blown around if it's windy. If you have a tailwind, the wind will catch the elevator, slam the elevator up, and the yoke will come flying back and hit you in the stomach when you're leaned over working the FMS. So to stop that, you'll turn the B pump on, and it powers the hydraulics and forces the yoke to neutral. So if the winds are calm, you're sitting here like this. If it's gusty, you'll leave a hydraulic pump on. I believe it's 50 feet. San Diego's 17, so we'll leave this at 0. Big Sim shutting down the entire hydraulic system because Southwest did it in 2005. That's awesome. All right, logo light steady. Anti-collision, that's all good. FO's flying today. APU is on. That looks good. We've got APU power on the bus now. That's good. All right. Mode control panel. Got 167 for the localizer, 167 for the initial heading, 30 degrees, V2, top altitude set. Do a lights test. Level 7, welcome in. All right, lights test looks good. Analog instruments today, we use the Magic Barrow ref key, set that up, auto, reset that. Engines, we got, we have quarts. I guess Southwest uses percent, but, well, percent, I don't know what the limit is in percent. Hydraulics look good. All right, RTO. Brake pressure looks good. Test the JIPWhiz. Takeoff config. Checks good. Speed brake handle is down. Flaps are up. Parking brake is set. Stab trim cutouts
wind
normal.
Shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain.
Right,
Pull
engine
up.
squibs look good. Fault and in-op. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 lights. Check these. 2 fire lights there. That's good. All right. Nav radios, we got the localizer set, 1080 set in the standby. We would set the comm radios as appropriate. We'll set some random transponder code. We'll go 22 and up. For the FO flying, that goes into standby. Check this. TCAS system test. Okay.
TCAS test. Pass.
All right, different system than we have. And then we'll test the weather radar. That'll be our last pre-flight check. Weather radar on and
Monitor
hit the test
radar
button.
display. Go around. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
Okay. Weather radar comes off and off. That's off on both sides. We got our 3 minutes on the APU, so we can come up on the air panel. And what we're going to do is we're going to set this up with we're going to go max cooling. So the 800 and 900 have a trim air valve that we're going to turn off. So we would shut that off, and then we're going to go high flow on the packs to try and keep it cool. The other thing we're going to do today that's a little non-standard is we're going to run the cabin off the APU until takeoff, because the APU is better at cooling the cabin than the engines are at idle. So we'll walk through that as we get there. So all right, pre-flight is complete. Cam MD80 with a $10 super chat, man. I appreciate it, dude. Love these streams. Have a question regarding the descent and FMC that I'll ask in cruise. Okay, perfect. Yeah, dude, fire off your question in cruise, and I'll make sure to get to it, dude. I appreciate the support for the channel, man. Thanks so much. All right, so we are good to go. We kind of did our takeoff or departure briefing as far as talking about all the stuff that we're going to have to do in the case of an engine out, so we can go right into a pre-flight checklist. So we pull that up here, and we'll start running through it. All right, so the pre-flight checklist: interior and exterior inspection, that's complete. Circuit breakers have been checked. Nav and display switches are normal and auto. Passenger signs are on. Window heats on. Engine bleed air switches on. Pressurization panel is set. Pressurization mode selector is an auto. Mode control panel is set. Flight director switches are on. Oxygen mask is checked. Altimeters 3016, that's cross-checked. Flight nav instruments are set. Warning annunciator lights are checked. Speed brake is down. Takeoff warning is checked and closed. Engine start levers are cut off. Stab trim cutout switches are normal. Fire warning's been checked. Radios and transponder are set. Radar is off. Rudder and aileron trim is free and zero. Parking brake is set. Windows closed and locked. The flight attendants have been briefed. Departure briefs complete. The logbook's on board. And fuel required, we need 13.9, and we have 13.9. Pre-flight check is complete. So we can get all these ground vehicles put away. So we will, let's see, make sure. So always double check that you're on the bus before you dismiss power. All right, so we'll get rid of the ground air, get rid of the ground power, and since we're fully loaded, they can pull the jet bridge. I do love the look of the 700, man. This cool, short little rocket ship, man. I wish we still had them. Kevin Reed, hello from West Texas. Hey, man. Hey, we're flying Southwest, dude. Hometown airline. Welcome, welcome. All right, so that's getting all pulled. Ground service vehicles, release all. No more free bags on Southwest, man. Bumps me out. Southwest used to be like the small hometown airline, like this. It didn't even feel like a low-cost carrier. It just felt like the kind of the underdog, if you will. And now they're just another big airline. Gus, yes, 200's greater than the 300, greater than the 700, greater than all the rest. I 100% agree, man. I got to say though, the Max 7 looks pretty sweet. Just short little normal length 737 with massive engines. It's pretty cool. got just a couple more. Getting some nice monsoonal flow in SoCal today. Loving the clouds. Ooh, interesting. Well, we're flying live weather into San Diego, so we might get to see some of that actually. All right, we're just waiting on the ground folks here. We'll go get the pushback set up for PMDG. We'll go standard L, turn nose right, select the tug. All right, and make sure everyone's there, and we'll start doing the pushback flow. So pumps, doors, cockpit door, and TCAS to standby. All right, pushback check. Doors are closed. Hydraulic panel is set. Fuel panel is set. Flight deck door is closed and locked, and the transponder is transpondering. The pushback check is complete. Just a couple more carts to get out of the way. All right, and then the captain would throw the beacon on, kill the barking brake. And we're just waiting on the baggage loader to get out the way. Man, where's Turk at, man? You buy some pay-wear scenery and the guy's not even here to appreciate it. Go. All right, everyone's out of here. Start the pushback. All right.
Go ahead.
Beacons on. Brakes release. Clear to push. Tail left.
Copy that. Clear to push. Tail left. Release the brakes.
All right, they're off. Alexander, welcome, dude. How you doing?
Brakes released.
Guys, he's talking to a manager somewhere. Got some custom wing views going too. There we go, and it's southwest, so we can start them both as soon as we start pushing. So packs come off. There we go, and we're going to ground 2 and hack the clock. 2 minutes is the starter cutout, or the starter duty limit for the CFM 56-7. It's unusual to go past a minute on the start, so you have double what you need. 25% or max motoring, which is defined as less than 5% of N2 rise in 1 second. Or sorry, less than 1% in 5 seconds. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, here comes the fuel. Check the engine and spar valves. Make sure that they go. They are in the commanded position. Light off in 10 seconds. There goes our EGT. That nose wheel scrubbing sound you get in the Bora sound pack, that's awesome. (56%). Starter cutout.
Push complete. Go ahead and set the brakes.
Starter cutout. I'll set the brakes.
Okay, the brakes set. Thanks for the good push. We'll see you.
All right, EGT limit line is gone, which means a good start. We got 2, 4, 6, 6. No CDS caution.
No problem.
Isolate and ventilate. So
okay, tow bar is
let's take a look at this.
We're disconnecting the interphone right now.
So
pin's gonna be on the right hand side, guys. Take care. We'll see you.
Yeah, we do have the Bora sound pack cam. So if you look at this, so this is the configuration now. So remember, when we started initially, this was the configuration of the air panel. But graphically, you can see what's happening here, right? So right now we have the right engine started. So it's providing air to the entire manifold through an open isolation valve, as you can see here. So what we do in between starts is we isolate by closing the isolation valve. So that's going to close the left-hand side, which is now powered only by the APU, which is not under load right now, so it's going to have a lower pressure. And then the right engine is powering the right side. And then since we have higher pressure on the right side, we can turn on the right pack. So now the right engine is powering the right pack, which air conditions the cockpit, and the system is separated, so that's its own system. And then separately on the left side, the APU bleed is going to start the left engine. So That is why we set up the air panel that way. So here we go, starting number 2, or rather number 1. Gus, I actually do have the age of the aircraft set to maximum age, so I wonder if that actually changes the engine start dynamics on the PMDG. All right, I'll shut up during this start so that we can actually hear the Boris engine start. See if I can get the light off here. All right, here we go. Fuel, and then right back to the window. Must have missed the light off. Didn't get that growl bass that I normally get, unless it's the seat that my view is in. Classic jet sim pilot, but why is the dual bleed light on when you've got the two sides isolated? Okay, so the dual bleed light is a light that's purpose is specifically to tell you that the APU can get back pressured. So in this case, even though the isolation valve's closed and the right side of the system is separate, the left side of the system, you can still back pressure the APU with the left engine bleed. If you turn the left engine bleed off, the dual bleed light goes out. Or if you turn the APU bleed off. Or, let's say that you have the left bleed off, now the APU bleed cannot be back pressured, and the dual bleed light is out. But if you open the isolation valve, now you'll have two bleeds on the same circuit. You'll have the APU bleed and an engine bleed, and so the dual bleed light should come back on. There it is. And that's saying right now, hey, dual bleed, you've got a engine, in this case the right engine, that can overpower the APU and back pressure it. So yeah, so it's purely based on switch position, and all it's telling you is that you have an engine bleed and the APU bleed on the same circuit. Not a problem if the engines are at idle, but if the engines are above idle, then it is a problem. Which leads us to how we're going to configure the air panel for taxi, which is, I told you that the APU is more effective for air conditioning on the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to go high pack flow with the isolation valve open, and we're going to use the APU to provide airflow to the cabin. But we have a dual bleed light, which is telling us that if we bring the engines above idle, that will potentially back pressure the APU and damage it. So to turn off the dual bleed light, we're going to turn off the engine bleeds. And that's the configuration that we're going to taxi in. All right, so we got 2 good starts. We'll get the generator swapped over here. Now it is important that we remember to turn off the APU and reset the air conditioning before we take off. The threat is partially alleviated because this is a higher performance configuration than what our takeoff data is planned for, i.e. with the engine bleeds off, the engines are producing more power. The problem is that our takeoff data also takes into account VMC ground. So in theory, if you took off with more engine power than your takeoff data assumed, and you lost an engine at a very slow speed, you could go off the runway due to a loss of directional control. So it would technically not be the correct thing to do if you accidentally took off in this configuration, but there's no danger of not having enough takeoff performance because you left the bleed panel in this config. So, all right, flaps are set to 1. After start checklist, generators are on. Probe heat is on. Any ice is not required. Air conditioning panel is set for taxi. Recalls checked. Auto brakes RTO. After start checklist complete. All right, brakes released. Getting out of here. Taxi lights coming on. And we'll get a quick flight control check, Southwest style here. Blackbird Controls, welcome, dude. I dig how you go into detail on everything, man. One day, if you're ever an LCA, new guy in the majors is going to be lucky to learn from you. Dude, or he'll be just terrified that he has to listen to me for an entire trip. But I really appreciate it, man. I'm kind of a systems nerd. Like, I was always a why guy, even in the Navy. Like, hey, why do we do this? And the guys I appreciated were the guys who could explain the why. They didn't necessarily do it unless somebody asked, but if somebody asked, you know, they were willing to take the time to explain why we did what we did. So just trying to pay it forward. All right, once we get on the main taxiway here, we can do a taxi checklist. Blackbird, I got a USB dongle in the mail as we speak, man, and I think I've got a plan to get the tiller set up. I think I'm going to put it on top of the old Honeycomb Bravo here. So that is that's my going in game plan, man. I'm pretty excited to try it. I've been putting the handle on, just kind of moving it back and forth to test out the action, and it seems super smooth. So, tiller stream incoming. All right, here we go. Taxi check. Flaps are. Let's see. Come on, be a good FO. Get the right page up on the FMS. All right. Flaps are set 1, FMS 1, indicating 1 with a green light. Takeoff speeds are 33, 35, 39. Set in the MCP. Thrust is TO 33. Stab trim is expertly set to 6.7, and the flight controls have been checked. Taxi checklist is complete. Blackbird, yeah, I'm thinking on top of the how you doing? On top of the Honeycomb, because you don't use it really while you're. Although I guess you kind of have to be able to use the throttles and the tiller at the same time, so maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe I need to put it on the other side. Maybe it's time. Chat, what do you think? Should we set up the sim pit as a captain pit and train for the future? You guys tired of seeing FO? You guys tired of seeing FO streams? Matthias, yeah, I did alter the PFD colors because I think these are more accurate to what I typically see in the real world. If you're interested in those, let me know and I'll post them in the Discord, or I can pull them up once we're in cruise and show you what they are. But it's more accurate to what I typically see on our jets in real life. Gus, next month try and get the tiller. It looks like they're streamlined with the U.S. mecha. Well, they're made in the USA, man. Made right in the good old U.S. of A. Handmade by Blackbird Controls, right? Oh, but I guess you're down. Where are you at? I don't know where you're exported to, but all right. So we can do a before takeoff checklist here. I'll give a brief also. Get the start switch to continuous. Other throttle comes on. Get the transpondering. And then we'll go over here. Start on the route page. We're taking off out of Reno, going to San Diego. Taking off runway 17 right on the Zephyr 9 Darby transition. Go to the legs page. First fix is Zephyr. No speed restrictions. We're going up to 19,000. First altitude is E-Posse above 9,200. We've got the engine out from hell, and we're accelerating at 3,000 feet. I'm also going to use the VSD for our takeoff today. I'm above y'all. Quebecois. Ah, awesome. Excellent. Yeah, Cam, that's a good point, man. Stick to the same position you fly in real life. It may mess up your flows. But hey, soon we may be streaming from over here. All right. Before takeoff checklist, runway position. We got 17 right, full length in the box. We got 17 right, full length outside. Actually, it says 16 right. They need to update their scenery. Flaps are 11 green. Nav briefing, that's complete. Takeoff warning is checked. Auto throttle is armed. Engine start switches are continuous. Transponder is TARA, and the flight attendants are notified and acknowledged. Before takeoff checklist complete. Alrighty. Here we go, chat. Forward on the yoke. Up to 40%. Hopefully we don't pop a motor because that engine out sucks. Spool them up. 40. Yoga. And one toga. 80 knots, throttle hold, thrust normal.
V1.
Rotate. All right, nice and smooth. It's a 700, so you can't hit the tail. Nice smooth rotation. Positive rate. You're up. All right, we're LNAVing. We want to be at V2 plus 15, so we got some airspeed to bleed off here. That was kind of a slow rotation for the 700. All right, there's 1,000 feet. We're LNAVing. We're going to remain in toga. We're not going to accelerate until 3,000 feet. We don't have the same guidance that Flight Deck Sim has about not exceeding 20 degrees, but I'm not going to go up to 25 like it's commanding. That seems excessive. All right, 7,500 is 3,000 AGL. All right, you see that we are remaining in toga, so it's just commanding V2 plus 20 on the flight directors. Or sorry, V2 plus 15 on the flight directors. All right. There we go. There's 7,500 feet. We'll hit VNAV, engage Command B, let the airplane accelerate itself. All right, nose comes down. It's a big climb out of Reno. Big climb out of Reno to get above all the mountains. Probably should have taken off with terrain up. Alrighty. There's the flap 1 speed going to up. Man, Boris's sounds are real life. All right, we'll do a after takeoff checklist. So anti-ice stays off. Oh, son of a bitch, chat. We took off with the bleed panel set up for cooling. So, like I said, no performance issues with that, but that would be ASAP worthy. But this is a good thing on, hey, how do we configure the bleed panel? Because now we have to reconfigure without damaging anything. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to close the isolation valve, and we're going to turn on the right bleed. Because what we've done is we've turned off we've separated the systems, and now the right bleed is pressurizing the right pack, which will now pressurize the cabin. And as you can see, the cabin pressure rate of climb should level off, and we've got differential coming up. So now the cabin is pressurizing. That's good. Now we can turn off the APU bleed, turn on the left engine bleed. We can see the left pressure is coming back up, and then once both those needles equalize, now we can open the isolation valve to auto. Okay, we can put these back to auto instead of high flow. So now we have auto, auto, auto across the top. The bottom is all set up. We are squared away. That's how you would do a bleeds off takeoff. Didn't intend to do one today, but forgot about it. Didn't have an FO to remind us. So I'll come across here. Cabin pressurization is the differentials climbing. That looks good. And the APU can come off. Start switches to off. Get the strobes on too. All the lights. There we go. Man, we really gooned up the lights on this one. There we go. And the retracts would come off at 10. Alrighty. And then we'll come up to the front here, go off on the auto brakes and off on the gear handle. After takeoff checklist complete. There we go. We're climbing out at 280 knots and 0.76. Classic Jet Sim Pilot. You did it just to explain it further, and I appreciate it. Yeah, that's what it was, man. All right, 19,000 feet. We'll bring it up to the top of 37. There we go. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised the performance didn't kick back and bleeds off takeoff, but yeah. Well, yeah, so Kevin Reed, that's what checklists are for. That is true. However, that is a threat in real life because bleeds are not on the before takeoff checklist. The only time that the bleed panel is on the checklist is after start. So if you're going to configure the bleed panel like that for taxi, which we do fairly often, especially out of like hot places like Vegas, Phoenix, that kind of thing, I write it on my yoke, and then in real life, I've got a little ditty as we're crossing the threshold of the runway, and it's flaps, fuel, flight attendants, final, effing bleed panel. So flaps, make sure the flaps are set in the right spot. Fuel, make sure you have the minimum fuel required for takeoff. Flight attendants, make sure that they're set down. Final, make sure the final approach corridor is clear. And then effing bleed panel, make sure that this bleed panel is set in accordance with the takeoff data. Either packs off, packs on, whatever it is, because it's not on the checklist. In my opinion, it should be, but you know, I just work here. So, all right, there's passing through 18, so we'll go standard 1, 2, and 3. Wing lights come off. All the rest of the forward-facing lights come off. And climb checklist says altimeter standard cross-check. Climb checklist complete. Matthias, oh, you got this the 777 kit? Yeah, so I got the same one, man. I got the 777 just because the ergonomics of the triple, I think, work a little better for my my cockpit setup. But alrighty, that's all squared away. We'll zoom out a little bit here. I'm going to clean the fix page up, so we'll go fix page. We don't need spoon anymore. We'll delete that. Don't need any of the Mustang stuff because we're above the en route altitude. So the fix page is cleaned up, and we are headed to San Diego. Dan Fruck declaring an emergency. I just got spiked by a cactus. Ooh, gross. Classic Jet Simpod. It's amazing how narration of the stream really takes you out of your natural flows, dude. That's 100% true, man. Like, which, if nothing else, kind of is a good reinforcement for sterile cockpit, right? I mean, as much as you kind of feel like a square in real life, just, you know, taxiing out in silence, not talking. It is amazing how you get off of your normal flow, you know, just chatting. So the reason I think the bleed panel is not on the before takeoff checklist is because generally the way you set the panel up after start will always be the safer option. You know, so like, for example, what we just did was not unsafe, it was just not correct. So and checklists are generally distilled down to things that will kill you or that are very important. So I don't know, I can see, maybe if it were me, the way I would do is I would move air conditioning panel from delayed from the after start check to the before takeoff check. But you know, that's just me. Again, I just work here. Yeah, Classic Jet Simpal, you're just learning now, and it's tough. Sterile cockpit's a prime example. Yeah, dude, you feel like a square, man. Like you're just taxiing out. And you'll be having a great conversation before you push back, and then you know, you push, and it just becomes all business. It, you know, kind of feels lame, but you've got to do it for exactly the reason that we just saw, right? If you're narrating stream, or if you're bullshitting or whatever, you know, talking, you tend to miss stuff that you normally wouldn't. So. Alrighty, we are on our way, getting up to the top of climb. We got the climb checklist done, so we're good. Dan Frick, we need to land. Why? For a little cactus prick? You'll be fine. Flight attendants have a first aid kit in the back. They'll take care of you, get you all dressed up. Gonna get to do a flap 40 into San Diego. Be great. Take a look over here. Yeah, just ask the Comair guys at LAC. Dude, that's 100%. That's the one where they took off on the wrong runway, right? Cam, oh, here's your question. So, how do you program a descent to be level at 11,000, 30 miles north of such and such waypoint? Okay, so let's dive into that. So, if we go to the legs page, so let's say that ATC gave us a clearance that they wanted us to be level at 11,000, 20 miles north of Lantern. So you'd pick Lantern minus 30. Let's see. Should be able to do that. Let's see. Lantern minus 30. Okay, well, there's another way to do it. So you can take Lantern. Our box will do that. You can do Lantern minus 30 and put it in there. But the other way to do it is you can go fixed page, Lantern. You can do a 30 nautical mile ring. Okay. And let's actually go to Lantern so that we can see it. So let me go. All right. So there's our 30-mile ring. Go to your fixed page and hit a beam. Okay. And then that gives you Lantern 085 for, let's see. So that you double click that and then you dump this in the legs page. And it should, so it didn't. Okay, the real jet, when you do that, what it's basically doing is when you hit a beam, you're telling the jet, hey, tell me where this point is, beam my route. So this new waypoint here would be 30 miles north. There'd be a new waypoint right there, and then you would just put in the restriction right there. So that's how you would do it. For some reason, it doesn't work in the PMDG, but that's how you would do it. So you would make it a beam, but the fastest way would be Lantern minus 30 and put it right there. Now I'm actually curious if it works in the iFly. We'll see. Cam, ask me that question again, because we may end up in the iFly at the end of this stream. We'll take a look. But hopefully that answered your question. Two ways to do it: Lantern minus 30, put it in the legs page, and then put in your restriction, or fixed page, Lantern, a 30-mile ring, and then a beam. Click the beam, put it in the legs page, and then type it in. That's how you would do it, and we'll try it in the max here a little later. All right. That bums me out. It didn't work in the PMDG. There we go. We'll get this squared away. Imagine a 707 with a proper sound pack trying to do that departure out of Reno. My man, dude. Day one. I don't know if y'all saw that the Nimbus 707 in V1's Discord, but the wing flex on that thing, man, that's going to be epic. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Moves. The beam should be entered prior to so I did. I thought. I'll try it again here. So if we went. Well, we can do it. Shafter's next, right? Yeah. So we'll just do Shafter. So if we wanted to do Shafter and do 30 miles prior to Shafter. $1,000 to go. Okay, there it is. Hit the beam. Yeah, see, it won't even give me an beam to shafter. So, yeah, that's not working as advertised. Yeah, I agree, Gus. The cockpit is spot on, but the gear handle's a little big. Everyone wants to make the gear handle on the Boeing's huge, but I mean it's bigger than an Airbus gear handle, but it's not obnoxious, you know. It takes some force to move the thing because it's all cables too, so it's long to give you leverage. All right, there's top of climb. I'm going to turn the terrain off. All right. Uh-oh. Hide. All right, so the way that the caution works in the 7.3, you have a hide light, which then tells you to look at the hide panel. And this is basically saying our electric hide pump on the B system has low pressure. Okay? So we're going to jump into the QRH. And we're going to take a look at that system. So jump into the QRH here. I'm going to fire it up. And we'll take a look here. Hydraulic pump, low pressure. Okay, so hydraulic pump, low pressure enunciated. The hydraulic pressure on the affected side is low. Hydraulic pump switch affected side off. Okay. Note the loss of an engine-driven hydraulic pump and a high demand on the system may result in intermittent low pressure for the hydraulic pump, but we lost the electric pump, so the engine pump is the high demand pump in the system, so that should not be a problem. So, all right. So we just press on with our lives. Just out of curiosity, we'll take a look at the systems page here. Yeah, so we've got 2990 on the pressure on the right, 2970 oil quantity. This is true. There'll be, so 78, 77. Looks like we have a hydraulic leak, chat. All right, so let's go to unenunciated and B system hydraulic leak. Let's see. System B. Do it alphabetically here. E, F, G, H. Hydraulic. You got to look. So the standby rudder on. There we go. Hydraulic low pressure. Okay, so there's actually no procedure for a hydraulic leak until it turns into a loss of the system. So it looks like system B is the one that's giving us issues, so we'll just have that on standby. And then we're also going to take a look. I don't want to go into San Diego with a airplane issue because it's got pretty short runways. So we've got Fresno along our route of flight. I mean, we're basically over Fresno. Fresno's like right there. Fresno's not a maintenance base. Let's see how long the runways are at Fresno. So Fresno, Yosemite, the runways are 9,500 feet long, which is, you know, fine, but it's not incredibly long. What about LA? Yeah, LA's got 13,000 feet on 25 right. So, and it's a maintenance base for Southwest. So I'm thinking that we may end up at LAX. So that's our going in game plan, is going to be LA. This is when Route 2 would be handy. Unfortunately, we don't have it in the PMDG, so we'll have to kind of play it by ear, but that's kind of my going in game plan. All right, as it starts getting darker, we're going to turn the panel lights up here. And we do have 1,000 different panel lights on the 7.3. Okay. Dan, I don't know that I'd be joking about busting into the cockpit of an airliner, my dude. It's definitely not stuff you'd want to joke about. It's probably not something we want to joke about on the channel, if I'm being honest. So I'd appreciate if you put an end to that particular scenario for me. I appreciate that it's flight sim, but you know, that is a big deal that people take really seriously. So, all right, we'll turn up the panel brightness and the panel brightness down on the console as well. Cam, ARF's been notified. Yeah, so hopefully we don't need it. But it does look like we are truly losing Hide System B. So, you know, we would call the company first, tell maintenance, hey, you know, we've got data link comms with maintenance. Say, hey, man, so, and to be honest with you, maintenance probably knows about it before we do, because they have systems that will monitor all of this stuff. And so a lot of times, there it goes. All right. All right, autopilot's off. I've got the airplane. I'm hand flying. We're busting out the loss of System B, which is indicated by Flight Control B low pressure light, which we have, and Hide Pumps ELEC 1 low pressure and Engine 2 low pressure. So we do have a loss of B hydraulics. Real world, FO would be hand flying the airplane, which is I'm doing right now, and Flight Control light that's associated, and Captain would start running the system. So condition, hydraulic system B pressure is low. That is confirmed right here. Flight control system B, flight control switch confirm. B to standby rudder. All right, standby rudder on. Hide system B pumps confirmed off. All right. We're going to plan a flap 15 landing. It does say autopilot A is available, so we'll turn that on. There's command A. All right, plan for a flap 15 landing. Okay. So we're going to go over here. We're going to select flap 15. That'll be a reminder for us. And then while I'm also thinking about it, we're going to do the flap inhibit switch to inhibit. All right. Set VREF to flap 15 or VREF ice. So if any of the following conditions apply, set VREF ice, which is effectively VREF 15 plus 10 knots. Engine anti-ice will be used during landing. That's not going to apply. Wing anti-ice has been used at any point in the flight. That's not us. And icing conditions were encountered during the flight and landing temperature is below 10 degrees. That's not us either. So, okay, so we're just going to use a flap 15 landing. And we're going to divert to LA. It says, plan to extend to flap 15 using the alternate flap extension. Okay. The drag penalty with leading edge devices extended may make it impossible to reach an alternate if required. And check the abnormal landing distance, so we would run those numbers. Step 7, do not arm auto brakes for landing. Use manual brakes. All right, and the inoperative items are autopilot B is inop, but A is available, so we're flying on autopilot A. Flight spoilers, 2 on each wing, are inop. The yaw damper is inop. Trailing edge flaps, normal hydraulic system is inop, so we need to extend to flap 15 with the alternate system. Leading edge flaps are inop, auto brake inop, normal brakes inop, alternate brakes available. Normal thrust reverser number 2 is inoperative, but it will deploy with the standby system. And alternate nose wheel steering is inop as well. Okay, so at this point, we would start talking to ATC and let them know, Gus, flap 15, hey man, the QRH is making me, dude. I don't want to. I don't want to, this is what the procedure's telling us to do. At this point, we would start talking to ATC and tell them, hey man, we're diverting into LA. So heading select here, we're going to go to route. We would do this in route 2, but since we don't have it, we're going to have to modify route 1, and we're going to LAX now. For the arrival, I'd like to do the ILS to 25 right, which is the longest runway. We'll take it off at Circus. We're going to get radar vectors in, or we're going to self-vector in is what we're going to do. And it's going to be a visual backed up by the ILS. All right, so we'll get set up for that. So the courses are going to be 251. All right, 251, 251. There we go. The frequency is going to be 111.1. All right, there we go. 111.1. Set twice. DA is going to be 304. So we're going to set that up here. There we go. 304 set. And we're going to pick this up from. We'll see where they have us coming from. For a star, they might have. Let's see. The Ironman. Yeah, let's do this. We'll see if they can put us on the Ironman, and then just we'll realize that they're going to have to break us off of it. But probably from Fraser, yeah, which is right in front of us. So we'll do that. All right, so Fraser, we'll go direct for the Ironman 2, and just realize that we're going to have to alternate extend the flaps here. So bottom of the Ironman is at 6. Gus, on this question, would this grant the diversion, or would San Diego soon be suitable? So my problem with San Diego is that it's a short runway. We normally go in there flap 40, and this requires a flap 15 landing. So, in a 700 maybe, but I don't know. With the steeper glide slope into San Diego, I think diverting to a longer runway is prudent. All right, so there's 6,000 for the descent, and now we're going to have to start diving into the books on the alternate flap extension. All right, so here we go. All right, checklist is complete except for the deferred items. I would expect to see the issue in San Diego with the glide path required, not the length. Did I get your point? Yeah. So the glide path being a little bit steeper, and then, if you want to, I guess, well, you'd have to run your landing data with flap 15, because our ref, it's really not that bad in a 700, ref 139, but if we were in like a 900, with a 150, 160 knot ref going into San Diego, I don't think I'd want to take that in there. Plus, you have more maintenance facilities at LAX, longer runways. You know, everything gets better in this case going into LA. So, but it's not a crazy emergency necessarily. It's just that we're going to have to do a little bit of planning with our configuration. So we would tell ATC what we're working with. Hey, you know, we've got an issue with our right hydraulic pump. I'd like to declare an emergency. Declaring an emergency is free. So, you know, even though the airplane is flying perfectly fine right now, you know, we can kind of preload ATC with what we need, and that way they're on the same page. So it's like, hey man, I'd like to descend via the Ironman, but if you could get me down to 6,000 early so I can configure level at 6,000 feet, or give me an extended vector Affogato for the straight in. That's probably what they would do, is just say, hey, descend via, and then Affogato expect an extended straight in for runway 25 right. So that's what we will expect. All right, so at this point, we're about 40 miles from the top of descent into LA now. So we can brief the new arrival. So we'll go into the box here and we'll check all the points. So on the Ironman, starts at Fraser. Then Ironman, we need to be between 12 and 16,000. At Simon, 250, 12 and 13. Based, 240. Above 9, Juice between 8 and 9. Cliffy, 210, 7 and 8. Dodger, 210 and 6, and then Gatto at 6. And then we'll be on the vector and we'll dirty up on the vector here, because alternate flaps is going to take a little while to dirty up, and then we will go from there. 190 at 4 knots, so we can use a 5 knot additive on flap 15. We're going to use AOA to back ourselves up on that, and if we need to add 10 knots or so to get a decent deck angle, then we will. So so we tell ATC, say, hey man, I want you know, I want 25 right in LA, which I believe is their emergency runway. Take a look. Looking at the 10-9 page. It says 25 left is the preferred emergency runway. 25 left. I mean, it's still 11,000 feet long. We can do that, so we'll do that for them since they want 25 left. We'll go LAX. We'll do the ILS to 25 left and take it off of Circus. So do that. That's in the box. Josh Freder, no, thanks for compliment on the sim, dude. I am not using Atmos. We're using just stock 2020. No, nothing other than just stock FS 2020. All right, 251 still on the course now. 109.9 is the ILS freak. So the nice thing is, I mean, you know, a flap 15 landing, given that we do them all the time, is not, you know, it's not an emergency procedure in any way. So even though we've declared an emergency because of the hydraulic issue, you know, it's kind of a nothing burger, you know. So the actual landing will not be that bad. It's just going to be the handling differences of the airplane, you know, since it's got some hydraulics out. All right, we've got we're cleared to descend via. We got 6,000 set in the bottom there. Cam, 25 left is I'm seeing 25 right is the longest, dude. 25 right is 12,923 feet, and 25 left is 11,095, which you know, still plenty of runway, but not the longest per se, by about 2,000 feet. So, all right, going back to the checklist, it says, let's see, autopilot B is in op. That's a nothing burger. Flight spoilers, 2 on each wing are in op. Roll rate and speed brake effectiveness may be reduced in flight, so the speed brakes won't be as effective. I do want to see if that's simulated, so we'll check that out when we start descending. The yaw damper is going to be in op. Again, not great for passenger comfort, but kind of a nothing burger for, you know, safety. Flap extension time to flap 15 is approximately 2 minutes. Leading edge flaps and slats, normal hydraulic pressures in op. So the big one here is just we can extend the leading edge flaps and slats, but they won't come up. So even if we have to do a go around, we bring the flaps up for some reason, then you know, the leading edge slats are staying down. Auto slats also in op. No auto brake, so we can't do that. Normal brakes are in op, but alternate brakes are available, so that should be fine. Number 2, reversal will be slow to deploy, and normal nose wheel steering is available. So those notes are reviewed. So we're good to go. All right. So this says for all additional divert items, the flap inhibit switch, that's switched. And then for flap extension, which we're going to do down at 6,000 feet, we're going to arm the system and then use the switch to extend the flaps on schedule, realizing it's going to take longer, so we're going to have to you know, kind of mess with our speed, make sure that we don't slow too quickly for the flap extension. And in an 800, the amber leading edge flap transit light will stay illuminated until the flaps approach the flap 10 position. So we won't get a green light until past flaps 10. And after actuating the alternate flap switch, allow 15 seconds after release before moving the switch again to avoid damaging the motor. Okay. All right. Gus says, brief story. My father was an OE instructor for the 737-200. He had an FO that was like Turk, needed a booster seat, and never adjusted his seat to the proper height, was always smashing the 737. Okay? Which, according to the old man, was a feature to achieve. So they're briefing a flap 15 into SPGR. Didn't adjust his seat. Oh, so he was flying fast to keep the deck angle low. Changed his name to Chucky because every landing was an attempted murder. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'll be honest with you, man. Now, I've had 2 slammers of landings in the 7.3, but both of them were completely my fault. It is a very easy airplane to land well. I mean, you have to pay attention. You can't have your head up your butt, and airspeed is the biggest thing. Like, make sure that you are on the airspeed that you're planned. But you know, our company has angle of attack right here, so as long as you nail the angle of attack, you're going to have the energy that you need coming into the flare, and you know, it's kind of a piece of cake. So, all right, there's the top of descent. We're going to start down early. We'll hit the alt intervene button. Let ATC know that we're out of 37, and down we go. Down we go. Emergency aircraft. Here comes the recall check. We're going to get a couple on this. We're going to get hydraulic and flight control lights, which hydraulic checks per the emergency, and flight control checks as well per the emergency. I'm going to turn the dome light to dim just so that we can see the alternate flap switch, because you know, that's one that we don't use all the time. Oh, Gus, that's cool. Post that in the Discord, man. Yeah, put that video in the Discord. That's pretty cool. See a video of your dad landing the 7.3. All right, we're gonna go direct to Fraser and LNAV it. So there we go, LNAV into Fraser, and we're on the VNAV path. Back on our ATC clearance. Down we go. So the 2 in, 2 out, we told maintenance, we told dispatch, we told ATC, there's 2 out. 2 in, we would tell the flight attendants, hey, you know, we've got a hydraulic system issue with the airplane, so we're going to divert into LA. Should be a normal landing, shouldn't need to evacuate, anything like that. You know, there's no note about don't taxi or anything like that, so we can taxi to the gate. You know, so should be pretty transparent, and then we would make a PA to the passengers. We'd give them a second to kind of get their stuff all squared away, and then we would tell the passengers, hey, you know, here's what's going on. No need to panic, but you know, give them enough information that they know what's going on, but don't just blast them with information that they don't need to know. So, oh, hey, Turk's in the house. Is this P3D? Wow, dude, you missed it, man. We flew in out of custom Reno scenery. We've got a hydraulic B system out, and we are landing in Los Angeles. Good old city of angels. Here we go. But it will be a night landing in LA, which somebody requested on the Discord with some night ops. All right, let's get the information here pulled up. I'm flying on my work iPad here, so I've been kind of ignoring this. But we're coming in on the Ironman, and we're doing the 25 left ILS. There's the Ironman. There we go, coming into Fraser. Okay, we'll put our idiot rings into the FMS. So if you remember, KLAX, and I normally like a 10 DME fixed ring to slow to 210, but since the Star already has a slow to 210, the only one that I really need is 10 miles for a 180 flap 5, and even that we're not going to use today because we're going to be configuring on the downwind. But you know, just good to have SA of when I'm crossing the fixed ring that we got about 10 miles to go. Especially because we're going to be kind of heads up in this case, doing the emergency or the alternate flap extension. So I wonder if I can do it from this view. Yeah, I'll probably do it from this view so I can keep an eye on the flight instruments while we do it. Right, down we go. We're on the path. Heading on down. Okay, getting a little high on the path, coming back onto it. And then the way the 737 checklist is written, once you have an emergency, you don't use the normal descent and approach and landing checklist anymore. You use the checklist. Basically, they rewrite the checklist for every emergency, right? So the descent checklist you use is out of the QRH, not the normal checklist that you would typically use. That's a common error. Dan Fruck, I've been checking if the sound pack's available on Xbox, but that's a negative. That's unfortunate. It's a great sound pack, man. I didn't know that. I'm not aware of that, as I'm not an Xbox user. But yeah, that's a shame, man, because it really does kind of transform the airplane. Man, skipped lunch to stream, chat. Getting hungry. Awesome. Thanks, Gus. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's really cool. Man, the 737-200, just what an absolute unit of an airplane. That is pretty cool. Okay, chat. Your job is to not let me forget to start the recording. I have the recording software open, but you guys have to remind me to start it. So we can start it maybe on the downwind or something like that. But don't let me forget. And then what I might do is once we land, we might do a quick swap into the iFly and just do a real quick and dirty LAX to San Diego in the iFly. We'll see what time it is. Matter of fact, I may fire up SimBrief and get that dispatch ready just in case here. Just in case. KLAX to San Diego in a max. Jump in the old spare. There we go. All right, that's pulled up just in case we need it. Okay, how are we looking here? Fraser, Ironman is next. No speed restrictions, so we're still doing 300 down. Ooh, 9,000 pounds an hour? Dang. Burning like a 727, carrying 2/3 the packs, 1/3 the cargo. Man, 9,000 pounds an hour. That's crazy. The 900 doesn't even burn that. A 737 900 ER burns less fuel than a 200. That's wild. Man, I had no idea. I mean, I knew that the old jets were inefficient, but I didn't know they were that inefficient. That's pretty crazy. Could they do 0.84 Mach? Wow, so the classics are the slowest ones then, because they were what, 7.6 airplanes? The 300, 400, 500? Okay, chat, let's, I want to pop the ground spoiler, or the flight spoilers here, just to see if they're modeled differently. Yeah, look at that. 2 spoilers on each wing are inoperative. See that? Interesting. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so they did model the hydraulic system. That's cool. All right, let's see. We'll get altimeters set. We did the recall. Okay, here we go. Descent check off the ME, or off the QRH. Altimeters, we got 2992. Let me get the lights here. Set cross-check minimums are Barrow 304. That's cross-check minimums. Or sorry, altimeters minimums. Landing data, we've got flap 15, ref of 138. And a 5-knot edited. The approach briefing is complete. Auto brakes are off. Seatbelt signs are on. Pressurization panel is set. And the recall is checked. Actually, I think LA is 150, so we'll set that to 150. All right, descent check complete. Oh, interesting. The Classic had to be slowed because the increase in wind chord caused severe turbulence to the shockwaves. Interesting. That's cool. I didn't know that. So yeah, it just kind of goes to show that the Classic was sort of the bastard child of the 737 series, and then the NG got a legitimate ground-up redesign. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. Spins, what's up, dude? How's it going, man? Gus, above 0.8, an eyebrow would form a standing wave with very high, oh, gross, with a very high pitch blasting in the outer ear. Yeah, and those were in the days before active noise canceling too. That's gross. There's, let's see, Camarillo Airport, Oxnard, and then Point Mugu Naval Air Station right there, home of the U.S. Navy E-2s. Alright. Not too shabby. Nice, dude. That's awesome. We need to do some DCS. I'm assuming you've been pretty busy doing some modeling stuff, huh? Mark, welcome, man. Welcome to the channel. New name in the chat for us with a $10 super chat. Thank you for the great content, great learning procedures from a real-life pilot. Dude, I really appreciate it, man. Thanks for the support. I really enjoy it. Glad you're learning something and you're enjoying it, dude. Appreciate you joining in. All right, there's Simon 250. Jet's doing a pretty good job meeting that speed restriction. Next, it's going to be based at 240 and 9,000. All right. We're going to do the approach check a bit early. We got flight nav instruments are verified, so we're verifying the loc freq and the loc course. Those are verified. The cabin notification is complete, and the altimeters are 2990 cross check, which brings us to the alternate flap extension, which we will get to on the demo. Oh, been playing Ready or Not a lot, dude. Yeah, I think I played the new update for the first time like last night. It was pretty good. They definitely added some stuff. I noticed some new sounds, and we'll have to jump on and do some playing. That's awesome, dude. Thanks for dropping by, man. If you guys don't know, Spins is an incredible 3D modeler. He's done some really good work for the legacy flight sims like P3D, FSX, all the way back to like 2002, I believe, and then a little bit DCS as well. And Big Sim cheated. Yeah, that is true. Big Sim does cheat every time. Every time. All right, 10,000 feet. Looking good. Based at 240. We're going outside real quick. Okay, jet's going to make 240 at based. We can see our little energy caret right there. Alrighty, there's based. Now juice between 8 and 9. Okay. There you go. Okay, CLA right down there. Yeah, so real world, I'd be feeling pretty comfortable right now. I mean, depending on how the lateral control of the airplane is with only 2 roll spoilers, but I feel like that would be fairly transparent. Flap 15 landing's feeling pretty good. So once we get the alternate flaps extension knocked out down to flap 15, you know, I think we're going to be sitting pretty. The big thing is that the alternate flap switch is a toggle, an up-down toggle. So you know, you want to make sure that you hit flap 15 because there's no detents like there are on the standard flap handle here. All right, Cliffy's next. Slowing to 210. Once we get below 230, we'll arm the alternate flap switch because 230 is the maximum. All right. It says during flap extension, set the flap lever to the desired flap position. All right, there's 230 knots, so we'll arm the alternate flaps. We'll go ahead and set the flap handle, the manual flap handle, to 15. Real world, I'd probably step these through like 1, 5, 10, 15, but in the sim, just because I'm only one guy, I'm gonna defer. All right, we're going to 210, so we'll open the speed window, set 210. All right, 210's above our min clean speed, so we're good to go there. Clean. Josh Feder, is this an emergency landing to LAS? No, it's an emergency landing, but we're going to LA. Going to City of Angels here. And yeah, like Gus says, it's an emergency, but it's not really an emergency. Okay, 210, we can get flap 1 out, so we'll go ahead and hold the alternate flap switch to down and get the flaps moving to 1. So we're hawking the gauge here, holding the flaps down, and we're hawking the flap gauge until it gets to 1. And you can see that it moves real slow. There they go. Yeah, you can even see the visual model. They're moving pretty slow. Yeah, Josh, we were supposed to be going to San Diego, but yeah, we had an emergency and we're in the divert. All right, there's flap 1. Let go of the switch. Now we have to wait. Let's see, 15 seconds before we actuate again. Also, there's no asymmetry protection on the flap. So if we see, there's actually 2 needles here, one for the left flap, one for the right flap. So if we see those needles begin to split, then we need to do something about it. All right, we can go down to flap 5. And actually, what we'll do is we'll configure all the way down to flap 15. So flap 15, the speed is 200. So we'll spin in 180. Okay. And go all the way down to flap 15. And that amber green light will remain illuminated, or amber green light. That amber slat light will remain illuminated until we get through flap 10. It's interesting that I'm not getting flap maneuver speeds on my PFD. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but it would certainly be something worth talking about. All right, remember the landing gear warning horn is going to come on past flap 10. So at flap 10, we're going to stop and we're going to drop the gear. All right, there's flap 10. We're going to go gear down. Wait 15 seconds so we don't damage the motor clutch. And down to flap 15. All right, there's flap 10 because we have the green leading edge slat light. All right, there's flap 15. As the flaps are extending, slow to the respective maneuver speed, okay, which we're good. And now we can slow to our ref, which is 138. We'll slow to 145. In the meantime, there we go. And landing checklist. Landing gear is down. Flaps are 15, 15 green. Speed brake is armed. There we go. Speed brake is armed. Start switches are continuous. Landing checklist complete. Okay. So this is where, so the 7.3 is getting, or the 700 is getting down to like 8 degrees AOA with flap 15, and we're touching the maneuver hook. I don't think that's accurate, so I'm going to add 10 knots to this. I'm going to speed this up to like 160. In the 800, this white bug is generally right around flap 15 ref, so we'll reference that for today. Okay, there's flap 15. All right, so now we can tell ATC, hey, you know, we're all set. We're ready to head inbound, and so we can extend off of gate. All right, 251 is the inbound course. Execute that. Should have been in heading mode before I did that. 71. Okay. All right, so Southwest 1911, descend and maintain 5,000. All right, so we'll go down to 5,000. We'll do it in vertical speed mode. Since we're pretty draggy, level change would bring a tidal and have us bombing downhill pretty good. Yeah, 4.8 AOA, 160 is feeling a little bit more reasonable, flap 15, so we'll plan on that. 1,000 to go. Gus, let's do SBSP to SBBT. Winds are gusting, you need to land on a short runway. That makes you do S charts to avoid terrain on the final segment. Yeah, dude, that sounds like fun. Let's do it. All right. Southwest 1911, left turn heading south. All right, 160. Okay, additional deferred item, flap inhibit switch to inhibit, which we did. And landing checklist is complete. All right, so now we're pretty much squared away as far as a from the emergency perspective, and now we just land the airplane. Blackbird says only an emergency could get me to willingly fly into LA. Even still, I might contemplate the side of a mountain instead. Dude, I'm right there with you, man. I avoid LAX at all costs, dude. It's not my speed. Ooh, Gold flies the max and SFP in there. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely check it out, guys. All right, so speed over the ground, we're doing 179, so we'll start our turn at 1.7 to go to 220. Close enough. All right, we're going to go 220 on the heading. And then we'll lavs it up. So we're altitude hold at 5,000. The approach, final approach fix is 1,900. So we'll set 1,900. We're in out hold. LAV, speed window open at 160. Technically, you shouldn't use LNAV until you're leveled out, because what it does, it draws a straight line off your current heading and intercepts the course, but close enough. All right. And then LA is one of those airports that has the intermediate step-down fixes, so we want to make sure that we make Honda and gate before we engage approach mode. Here we go, heading to course. Got all of our lights on, we're clear to land. Turn the overhead light off now that we got the alternate flaps figured out. Timu LNAV. Dude, what are you talking about, man? It works great. This is the ultimate airliner right here. Okay, flap 15. We're squared away. LA's incredible when you're leaving above 10,000. Yeah, I'm with you, man. All right. We got one more fix to make, Honda, above 3,600. And then once we make Honda, then we can engage the glide slope. We can do Vorloke now if we want. There it is, Vorloke. So we have VOR localizer here, and LNAV is armed for the missed approach, so if we have to go missed. We are, pull the engines back up here. If we go around, even though we're doing a flap 15 landing, it's still a flap 15 go around. So the call would still be go around flap 15, and we would just leave the flaps where they were and bring the gear up. And then, frankly, if I was in this configuration, I'd probably just leave the flaps at 15 and not stress the alternate system any more than I had to. All right, get the flight recorder going. Thanks for nothing, chat. Nobody reminded me of that. And G's is up as well. AE4VJ, did you break the flaps? Yeah, we did. We had a hydraulic system B failure. So we have 8% quantity and 0 pressure in the B system. So we had to use alternate flap extension. Pete Ski, yes, we are recording. Luckily, the landing gear came down normally because we have system A. Yeah, I think the PMDG flap 15 reference speed is bugged, specifically on the 700, because on the 800 and 900 it's about what I would expect, but on the 700 it seems a little slow. Although I also don't think that a 700 would require 165 knots, so I don't know what's going on with it necessarily. Twin Smile Aviation, do you know what time the Houston event starts tonight? I do not. Is there a VATSIM event going on? Alright, we got Honda made, JV's next, here comes approach mode. Flight slope 2000 is set for the mist, I think. Let's see, what's the, 2000, yeah, 2000 is set for the mist. Alright, landing checklist, we've got gear is down, flaps are 15, green light, continuous, and speed brakes are armed. Approaching at night in any bright city, the background light at night actually helps a lot. And yeah, 100%. It's kind of crazy how bright it is, actually. Twin Smile, yeah, it's the Houston Overload event tonight. I just need to know what time it is. I'm not sure, dude. Yeah, I'm kind of banned on VATSIM, so sort of pseudo banned. Turn the brightness down on the HUD here. Step 1 of flying with a heads-up display is have it as dim as you can and still see it. Something like that. There we go. I feel like it's bringing us in a little low. Is that a problem with this like it is in Vegas?
1,000.
.2020 night lighting is pretty good. Alright, we're going to hand fly this. I feel like we're coming in just a little bit low, so we might favor just a bit high here. Alright. Alright. Autopilot, all throttler off, full total manual control. That's what we need. We need a full total manual control emoji. Remember, no auto brakes, so we're going to have to stop the jet manually. Oh, it is the botched glide slope. Okay, so it's not just me. A little fast. So the nose is hunting around a little bit more, and with my roll inputs, and I wonder if that's the yaw damper.
Minimums.
Speed's getting a little high. It's okay. Approach warrant, A3. We're not using A3, so that's okay.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Flare at like 10 feet on a flat 15. Just hold it off, hold it off. 29 feet a minute, chat. Full reverse. The number 2 reverser is going to be slow to deploy. And we're going to hold off on the brakes as long as we can. There's 100. Stow the reverse going through 80. And we can get on the brakes. Get off right here. Turk says rigged. There we go. Alright, we are clear of the runway. I kind of want to see if the we'll join the taxiway here. I want to see if the spoilers modeled the deploy. Oh, look at that jet. Okay, so Yeah, look at this. The spoiler panels, not all of them deployed because we have a loss of B system hydraulics, so the B system spoilers didn't deploy. Look at that, PMDG goat. That is cool. All right, so I'm gonna turn this back on so I can see what the heck I'm doing. We'll get the landing lights off. We'll get the strobes, all the ground stuff off. And now, here's where you have to think, right? You have to sit here and go like, okay, well, what did I just do? Because I did a non-standard landing, so what am I going to do differently? So auto brakes, normally we turn those off. They're already off. Speed brakes, we can stow. Yeah, so we'll stow those. That's fine. Flaps, we're going to leave because the flap handle matches the alternate flaps, and I don't want to retract those on the alternate system because it's unnecessary wear on the motor. And then we're going to spin the trim back to 5. All right. And then we'll spin 108.0 in here, and transponder goes to. Oh, I got by the click and drag bug there, chat. There we go. Pick up the green light here. Put G's away. We're cleared to cross, so we'll light them up. The APU going. And maintenance would be meeting us at the gate. Turk, touchdown speed 164 knots. Yeah, man. She scoots flat 15 for sure. And we got a little fast for some reason, but we're down. How's our brake temps actually? Oh, they're not bad at all. 0.7. Yeah, we're super gentlemanly on them. Nice long runway. All right, so the game plan right now is to go bring this thing to the gate. We'll watch the replay, and then let me put a poll in chat and see. I mean, I don't know what y'all's plans are, but we'll see if we can maybe do a second leg or not. There we go. That is in chat. 164 is the 900 ER. 160, yeah. Well, actually, 164. It'd be up there. It'd be pretty close. So, I'm not sure exactly. I'd have to look at break out the book, but. All right, get off the brakes, do the power swap. The Houston event's 23 to, okay. So is that today? Oh, that's today. Okay. I don't feel like taxiing all the way over to the southwest terminal, so we're just going to park it at one of these gates, and then we'll restart in the max at the southwest gate. So we'll just suspend disbelief here for a second and say that maintenance told us to park it over here for some reason. Maybe they're renting a gate from whoever parks over here. All right, kill the taxi light. The nice thing about using alternate flaps is you don't have to change the flap configuration before the replay. Alright, parking brake is set, brake set, and then we would let them up, shut them down, do that whole thing. Okay, let's stop the recording. I'm going to replay it from here. We're going to change the time of day so we can see what's going on. we go. There we go. There's that beautiful flap 15 wing. Okay, well, we got 16 votes for yes. So I think that tells me everything I need to know. So we'll jump into Max and we'll do the we'll get all these passengers down to San Diego where they really wanted to go. We'll skip lunch to stream. The sacrifices, chat. Yeah, so I definitely felt it'd be interesting. I don't know if it's the if PMDG modeled the yaw damper being in on, but the airplane definitely, the nose was definitely moving around a lot more than I expected it to be on final. All right, there's flap 15, just drive it down to 10 feet, flare at 10 feet. Chat, come on, drop a like for that touchdown, huh? You know, the funny thing though is like that actually mirrors my my true to life experience as well, which is your emergency landings always tend to be better than your standard landings because you're paying attention. You know, if you're actually paying attention to what you're doing, you tend to do better than otherwise. Chad, I kind of don't want to do another one after that. All right, one more replay and then we'll jump on the Max. Alrighty. Well, pretty happy with that. 155 knot ground speed. So yeah, we're definitely cooking. Definitely moving on the ground speed. But yeah, we got her down safe. All the passengers are feeling good, but now they're upset. They've forgotten about their you know, surviving an emergency, and now they're worried that they're not going to get to San Diego on time. So let's fire up a Max and get them on their way. So we're going to stop replay. I'm going to save that one because I'm never going to do a landing like that ever again. All right, saved. And let's jump into a Max. So we're going to go continue here. I'm a Temu streamer, so I don't know how to do the Be Right Back splash screen. So you're just going to have to bear with me through the menu and the loading process. So I apologize, but you know what? That's the production quality that you get here on Full Flap Sim. So we'll go world map. We're going to select the iFly 737. We're going to do it in southwest colors. And we're going to take them from KLAX to, and we'll do, I think this is a south, yeah, that's a southwest gate. I like that you can actually see the southwest jets in the satellite. There we go. Gus says, close and start a new one, pump the numbers up for the algorithm. Nah, dude, because then I'd have to make a new thumbnail, and I'd have to do all that. We're on a schedule here, so we're going to just fire it up and go. Well, that's cooking. I'm going to get in sim brief, and we're going to get the new numbers going. Okay. So we have that all squared away. And it shouldn't take too long to get going here. So real world, if you did this, you diverted. There we go. We are back. All right. Now the one thing I do have to do is I have to change my controls to. I've got a different profile that I use. There we go. That's for the gear handle, since it's got a 777 gear handle in it. There we go. All right. So. Real world, if you divert, it's a huge pain in the butt because now you have to get a new jet and find gate space and do all that junk. So, yeah, real world, you'd be scrambling, talking to the company, trying to get all the passengers either rebooked or get a new jet. Hopefully, you have the crew day for it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, a lot of operational stuff gets into it. But we'll say that we got a new jet, and we are going to get all of these fine folks to San Diego. So we'll get the power up here. The best news that I got recently was that iFly is going to update this terrible EFB. Okay, payload and performance. No, first of all, I want ground services. I need systems, sim menu, ground support. I need electric and pneumatic and air conditioning. And we're going to ignore all the rest. Okay, so here we go. Ground power's on. Looks like it's good. All right, there's ground power. We're going to get the IRSs cooking. And now I'm going to dive into EFB hell. Okay, payload and performance. The sim brief says our zero fuel weight is 124.8. So we'll go weight and balance. And I wish I could just, let's see, 124, so I don't know, let's say 100 passengers. Okay, more than that, 120. More than that, 130. There we go, 124.8, good enough. Oh no, that's my landing weight, zero fuel weight. Yeah, 124.8. Okay, so we'll set the payload. And then for fuel, SimBrief is saying our block is going to be 9,000 pounds, which has us landing with, we're going to take more than that. We're going to take, it's a short flight. We'll take 15. Just 9,000 pounds is zero gas. All right, so 7,500 pounds. That looks like it's good. Okay, cool. Overhead is going. ACARS, we would select ACARS, set that up, and now we'll go into the FMC and KLAX. Page 2, get the GPS, enter that. Okay, route. KMDG, we're going to try your FMS question in this airplane too, just to see if it works in here and see if the FMS is more up to date on this jet. We're taking off on runway. This is not going to data link our stuff, so we're gonna have to type it all in manually. So 24 left. We're doing the LAX 1 departure with a MZB transition, and then we're landing via the ILS Zulu, or the RNAV Zulu to 27, picking it up from Cloman. Oh, this is going direct. We'll take the comics. We'll say we'll pick it up from Hulk. Activate, execute, legs, SLI MZB. We'll have to look at the route once the map loads. Perfinit, zero fuel weight, 124 reserves. We'll throw the 900. Actually, Max is more fuel efficient. This is a Max 8, so I'll just use the 800 number there. Cost index, 54, sure. Cruise altitude, SimBrief says 13,000. That sounds good for me. All right, there we go. Cruise altitude changed to 15. All right, sweet. Probably because there's an altitude restriction on the arrival. All right, so that is good there. We'll go to the legs page, route data, request the winds. There it is, invalid cruise wind uplink. All right, sweet. Not sure why it's doing that, but we don't need the winds. We'll call it good. So go to the progress page. That looks good. 400 nautical miles to San Diego. That seems not right. Yeah, it's 138. So, oh, that's because the arrival. So we'll take a look once the IRS is boot up. VNav, yeah, 300 to point, yeah, 65, because we're never going to get up into the Mach transition, so we're just going to be doing 300 the whole time. Target speed 0.66, yep, and then 320 on the descent. That all looks good. ATC page, we would do departures and arrivals are good. We'll route copy for route 2, not going to need it though. Legs page. Skystream Aviation, welcome, man. Oh boy, now we have to get the terminal charts going. Use the airports from the FMS. Complete. Edit clip. All. Why do I not have any charts? There we go. We're going to do the LAX. Nope, I want departure. The LAX 1 departure, that's all I care about. And then San Diego, I want the edit clip. We're doing the comics. And then RNAV Zulu to 27. There it is. All right, complete. There we go. Okay, perfect. And we'll go back. Nope. Forward. No. Complete. LAX 1 departure. Okay, so the LAX 1 departure says. I also don't know why the charts are so blurry on this when they're clear on the PMDG tablet. So I don't know what's going on here. All right, we're taking off 24 left, climb on heading at 251 below 3,000, then radar vectors to the assigned fix. Okay, so really it's just a radar vector departure. So we'll say 251 at or below 3,000. 251. All right. And I don't know why all these, because PMDG does this too, like they all put the bank angle selector at 20. I don't know if that's a company thing or what, but anyway. All right, we're going to go up to 3,000. Gus, 100%, yeah, we can enjoy the Boris sounds on both 7.3s, which is fantastic. Skystream, this is the Max. This is the iFly Max, and I am a real pilot. I do not fly the Max in real life, but I do fly the NG. So, okie doke. How good is that new tablet for the iFly going to be, dude? You are telling me, man. I cannot wait for that thing. Okay, so the box is all set up, so we're going to do an overhead flow here. We're going to do the slat check. That looks good. EECs are good. Check the flight recorder. That looks good. Now how do I close it? Okay, that all looks good. Flight control switches are down. The guard yaw damper is on. They have display switches. We'll get the left pump on for the APU. That can go to APU gen. We'll turn on the cabin and passenger utility signs. Looks good. Emergency exit lights can come on. Fasten seat belts can come on. Windows can come on. Probes are off. Hides, pumps. Trim air is on. That all looks good. We're only going to 13,000 feet. Alright, so we can go there, 13,000, landing is at 0, automatic, we'll get the logos on, get these to steady. FO is flying, get the APU fired up. There's no gauge in the Max, they get rid of that. Alright, we can turn these off and off. Nobody flies with bearing pointers anymore. We're going up to 3,000 feet. We're doing it in LNAV. There we go. In LNAV 251, we'll get V2 set. Not going to set a comeback altitude yet. We'll go reset the fuel flow. Set that to RTO. On brake disarm. Try the B pump trick here. There we go. Hide pressure. Okay, that doesn't happen in real life. I don't know why everyone's modeled that like that, but that's fine. All right, systems page. We have hydraulics, which is nice. Engine page. Okay, that's all good. Check the jip whiz.
Glide slope. Pull up.
All right, those are good. Parking brake set. Stab trim
Wind
normal.
shear.
Flaps and speed
Wind
brake
shear.
are
Wind shear.
up.
Terrain.
All
Pull
right.
up. Obstacle.
It sounds like we might be rushing
Pull
through this
up.
a little bit, but that is,
Sink rate.
I mean, you know, that's kind of how
Pull
you would be
up.
doing it
Don't sink.
in real
Too
life
low.
if you had just
Terrain.
gotten done doing a divert.
Too
But
low.
the
Gear.
important thing is
Too low.
that your
Flaps.
divert does not,
Glide slope.
or your rushing does
Bank
not,
angle. Bank
you know,
angle.
cause you to miss anything. So,
Approaching minimums.
all right, altitude
Minimums.
off. That's going to be
2,500.
auto.
1,000.
Looks good.
500. 100.
All right.
50.
That
40.
is all
30.
set.
20. 10.
Wind shear. Wind shear.
Let's
Wind
see.
shear. Too
Dylan,
low.
good morning.
Terrain.
Dude. Twin Smile
Caution.
Aviation. I'm
Terrain.
starting from school and giving any
Caution.
advice
Terrain.
I do good on
Terrain.
exams.
Terrain.
Dude, just
Pull up.
Caution,
figure out
obstacle.
how you study.
Caution,
That's
obstacle,
the big thing, right? Figure
obstacle,
out
obstacle.
the
Pull
way
up.
that you study, your learning style, if you will, and just, you know, use that. Work hard. You know, try and teach yourself. The aviation specifically, try and act like the instructor's not there. And if you have any questions about something, instead of saying, "Oh, the instructor will take care of it," just you know, just kind of take ownership. That's the word I'm looking for. Take ownership of things, and I think that you'll find that that gets you a long way in aviation. So, Skystream. Okay, what is the right fix for the NG and the Max? I don't understand your question. The right fix. Don't know what that means. Okay, that is all squared away. Magic Bear ref key. We need to put live weather on here. So we'll do that. There's live weather. All right, random wing view here. And we'll start the clock for the APU. And now we can look at this plan view and figure out where we want to pick up the Ironman from. Yeah, Hulk takes us north. So we'll basically just try to pick it up at maybe SLI. Oh no! So that's the departures, the SL. Okay, so we don't want to do any of that. We just want to go. We'll pick it up at Dessier. We'll go Dessier to the top. There we go. We'll go Dessier to the top, and we'll just do 251, and we'll do a heading vector departure out of here. So that is how we will do it. So that works, and we are good to go. Not going to use the checklist on this one. So we're just going to use. We're just going to go through and kind of do it with flows. Let's see. Skystream, is it like 15, 10, 5 or 20, 10, 5? What? Was it? Oh, you talking about for like decelerating landing? It's at least what I use is 15 nautical miles and 10 nautical miles. So that's yeah, that's what I use. All right. APU is up and on the bus, so we can do a pre-push. We got pumps, doors. The door in this one you actually have to close, I think. Doors and TCAS, which we turn that auto alt off. Okay, cool. So we're ready to push. We are good to get out of here. Yeah, sorry, man. It took me a second to understand your question there. All right, there's 2 minutes. We can turn on the APU bleed, get the packs going. Dual bleed light, that's normal. Okay, we're all set. Get the lights on, and we are out of here. Now we just need to go systems page, disconnect the electric, disconnect the pneumatic, get rid of the chocks. And then disconnected, everything's disconnected. Radome is closed, that is all set. And then I'm just going to use the default pushback. So we're going to push and shift P. This is a short taxi, so we're going to do everything up to the taxi checks while we are sitting here. And then I'm also going to have to use SimBrief to run the takeoff data because iFly doesn't include a takeoff data calculator. So 24 left. Takeoff weight is 139.5. And no improved climb, calculate. So this says DTO 248 flap 5. All right. So we will do that. Tom Joy, thanks, man. Appreciate your input to the channel, dude. Average sim, mid sim. Well, my entire aviation career has been the below average pass, so maybe that needs to be it. Slightly below average simulations. Alright. That is good enough to get us off the gate. Pushback complete, we'll set the brakes, and we will start 2. So left and right packs off, starter to ground, start the clock. Although the duty cycle and everything for the leaps is totally different, so I'm actually not sure what the limits are there. But we are motoring. Alright, go. We said DTO 248, is that right? Yeah. You would never do this in real life. You would never do both engine start and takeoff data at the same time because they're both too critical, but you know, we're gonna do it because we're in the simulator. There we go, 144. All right, motoring is complete, and we're going outside for this one. Beautiful. Oh, I know, I love it. From Boris Sounds to Boris Sounds. Low expectation simulations. There it is. We had 2, 4, 6, 6. We'll isolate and ventilate, and we will crank number 1. Motoring. Yeah, Boris cooked on these sound packs, both of them. Yeah, I am as well, Gus. Boris sound packs are goat. bad. All right. Generators are coming on. Probe heat is coming on. Don't need the anti-ice. Reconfigure the bleed panel. That looks good. APU comes off. Fuel pump staying off. Recall is checked. We're going to flap 5. Okay. Flap 5. And we are good to go there. We did flight control check. Flaps are set. All right, here we go. Yeah, the animations on the iFly are pretty great. I'm really looking forward to what PMD. It's no secret that I'm a PMDG fan, so it's I'm interested to see what Randazzo and his team are going to be able to pull off with the updated 7.3. Right, here we go. Going to 2-4 left. Mark, question: is the auto brake basically used on every landing? So it's company specific. At my work, yes, we have to use auto brake if it's operable. The only situation where you would only use manual braking is if the auto brakes are on MEL, meaning you dispatch without them, which happens. But it's unusual. I've done it one time in 3 years. So, but yeah, otherwise auto brakes for every landing, and that's purely for a, it's a conservative safety answer. That's all. All right, we're number 1 to go here. We'll get the lights going. Continuous. Strobes onto the runway here. Auto throttle. Slam the throttles. No takeoff config warning. And TCAS. All right, we're going straight out at or below 3,000 feet in the max. All right, here we go. Engine sounds are mid, but that's just like the real-life airplane. That's not Morris. All right, neutral on the yoke.
V1.
Rotate. Right, nice smooth rotation. I do like how the iFly hand flies. All right, there's the dead band. Just hold it. There we go. Click off the ground. Positive rate gear up. We're at a really reduced power setting. You can tell because the deck angle is super shallow, which is good though because we're only going up to 3,000 feet. All right, there's 400 feet. Engage heading mode. Flex in this is great. All right, I'm just going to put on command. We're going to go all the way up to 13,000 feet. Engage VNAV. It'll start accelerating us out. All right, there's our cruise altitude of 13. Okay, we're above the flap 5 speed. There's flap 1. No, it's COVID on the window, Alexander. I know, I thought it was too. I got excited. All right, flaps up and after. We got anti-ice not required. Bleed panel is set. Pressurization looks good. We got differential coming. Continuous. APU's off. Gear handle doesn't go off anymore, and the auto brake is off. Alrighty. Yeah, it was COVID on the window. I saw the same thing, man. All right. I did not delete the climb 2, Gus. No, we're let's see. We can go here, delete, climb. There we go. That'll help a little bit. And what we can do is we can spin it around. I'm going to climb straight. Do you delete climb 2? Yeah, we do. We will sometimes to make a restriction, but sometimes we also just leave it too. All right, Dessier, execute, El Navin. All right, let me try answering. Let's see. Yeah, so there it is. So the iFly actually does it right. So if you look, I'm going to erase this. So Cam MD80, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but if you are, you can. If you were told, hey, cross 10 miles north or this side of Gampt, go up to 15 because we're going up to 15 now. We'll set 15 up here too. If you want to cross like 10 miles this side of Joker, maintain 15,000. You can take Joker slash minus 10, minus being on this side, plus being on the other side. Put it next to Joker, and you'll see now it puts that added waypoint next to Joker. And then you could just put in your speed and altitude restriction that you had to hit right there. So like we'll execute it, and if it said that you wanted to be at 15,000 there, you would just make that a hard 15,000, execute, and now it's in there. So yeah, Cam, I don't know if you're still here or not, but that's how you would do it. All right, there's 10,000. We'll get the landing lights off. Real well light through 10. That's still looking good. Oh, Gus, interesting. All your last 737 flights, they deleted climb 1 or 2. No, some guys do. It's technique. The company definitely doesn't encourage that, because it puts more wear on the engines. But some guys will in mountainous terrain. I personally just leave it. Doesn't matter to me. Buckethead, we are not on 24 now. We're on 2020. But I appreciate you asking. Now I can tell Turk that people can't tell the difference. All right. Hey, Tim, welcome, dude. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Okay, this is going to be a quick flight going into San Diego. So we need to get 1,000 to go for the climb. So we need to get to the, oh, Lord. We need to get to the charts. Back. We're off the departure. We're on to the arrival, into the comics. We're joining it at DECA. So after DECA, is that MCAS? Mother of God, the trim wheel does not move that much in real life. Okay. DECA, Joker, Gampt, then Legion between 19 and 15, comics between 15 and 12, Flash, Lantern is 230 above 9, X-Man's above 7, Cloman 210 and 6. Okay, so that all looks good. And then the arrival, the RNP, is Cloman at 6 and 210, AJ'd 5200, Cat Dog 4800, Costner 37, Sae 32, Sigi 27, Toko at 2000, then the airport. Okay, cool. So that looks good. It's an RMP, so what we have to do is we have to go to the, we can set these to 275, although we don't need to. Sean Wynn, welcome, dude. Yeah, Gus, it probably is a cost-saving thing because it does cost more gas. It burns more fuel for sure to climb slower. Okay, so to do an RNAV properly, we need to go to the nav status page, and we need to make sure that both GPSs and both IRSs are functioning, which they are. Now we need to go to the nav options page and turn off VOR and DME update. And then lastly, we need to update the RMP to the mins that we're going to use, in this case 0.11. Okay, and that'll just send an alert if the ANP exceeds the RMP. All right, and we're going down to a DA of 624. So we can go Barrow 624. Set. All right, so we built it in the box. We don't need to build it in the nav radios. We bugged the minimums. We're going to use flap 40. We're going to use brake 3. And we're all squared away. Sean Wynn, Tropical Storm Ferdinand formed today. Interesting, dude. Yeah, this is definitely more clouds than you get in SoCal for sure. But 2020 is doing a pretty good job. All right, we're going to head outside. Look at this, chat. We got a plane full of irritated people because they had to divert into LAX. Let them up for about 5 minutes. This is a cool flight in real life, though, or a cool arrival because you just come down the coast into San Diego. Oh, nice. Flying on VATSIM? Yeah, I would have flown on VATSIM, but the last stream we were doing emergencies, and I can't do that on VATSIM, so figured we would just stay offline for today. And then the second stream is sort of just a kind of a hurry-up stream. Didn't really anticipate doing it, but like to get these packs down to San Diego. And it's cool because you get to see the PMDG and the iFly back to back. I will say the FMS in the iFly is more complete than the PMDG, with the one exception of the vertical bearing on the descent page. The vertical bearing doesn't work in the iFly, whereas it does in the PMDG. But other than that, the iFly FMS is more representative of a modern 737. So. Sean Wynn, can it be dangerous to fly during hurricane season? Yeah. I mean, now typically hurricanes aren't that big of a deal to airplanes necessarily because, I mean, the turbulence within them would be, but hurricane hunters fly through hurricanes all the time because wind in and of itself is not a problem for an airplane, right? Because the airplane is flying in with reference to the air mass, if that makes sense. I'm going to bring our speed back a little bit. We're real close to the zipper, so I'm going to say 320. Slow us back a bit. And then we'll do 0.65/300 in descent. So, you know, flying into a hurricane is not necessarily as insane as it sounds at first glance. But that said, there's definitely turbulence and stuff associated with it. And if you're trying to land in an area where a hurricane's making landfall, then absolutely that's a problem. Yeah, then that's a big issue. So, all right, top of descent's coming up. We got VNAV up. We'll pull terrain up as well. We'll put 6 in for the bottom. There we go. And we'll sit the packs down. Yeah, exactly. You may not be moving as fast, but if you have you know, 200 miles of wind in the hurricane, you really don't care. Your ground speed is 200 knots less, right? So that's really the only consideration. I feel like the iFly wing is pretty stiff once you're in the air. Like it flexes, it bounces nice on the ground, but I feel like once you're in the air, it kind of stiffens up. Fritz 340, the FMS is definitely more complete. I hope PMDG do some more upgrades for the 2024 version. I agree, dude. I really, really agree. I hope that they do an FMS update and bring the FMS in the 7.3 up to the same standard as the 777 does. My pipe dream, which I don't think will happen, but if it did, is I would really love if they modeled the Legacy VNAV and Common VNAV, because while the vast majority of 737s have Common VNAV now, my operator still uses Legacy VNAV, so it would be nice to have the option for Legacy VNAV. And I know that PMDG have the code for it because they had Legacy VNAV all the way up to the P3D version of the airplane, and they just changed it for the 2020 version. So the code is sitting around there somewhere. They just chose not to use it. Zapato, love the Max and the iFly, but never been able to load SIDS and stars. Nothing. I didn't do anything special to load SIDS and stars on my end. Just yeah, just updated the nav data. But that's it. Okay, Legend is the next fix. It's 15 or above, 15, so I'm going to put the jet into descent mode, but we're not going to expect it to descend, so it should, I don't know why it's slowing to 230 unless there's a speed restriction. Lantern, that seems a little premature. I'm going to open the speed window and keep it up here at 320 for a little bit with the speed window. Not outside the realm of normal for the airplane to do that in real life, but we'll just keep the speed up for now. But yeah, I don't know, Zabato. I don't know why it's why it's not working for you. Gus, the biggest issue for flying into a hurricane would be the temperature increase. Yes, 100%. So your performance would suffer dramatically. I 100% agree with that, and I didn't think about that. Yeah. Zandria, needs force on whatever you're doing. Yeah, Fritz, especially since we'll be buying it again. Yeah, 100%. Turk, iFly is literally the Temu of 737 jets. Dude, I would have agreed with you. I kind of agree with you. But once they switch this monstrosity for a iPad-based EFB, and they do some better SimBrief integration, then I think I'll be much happier with the iFly. I definitely prefer the PMDG. Like the PMDG definitely makes me feel more immersed. But my biggest complaint with this airplane is the tablet. Oh, Hurricane Hunters are flying out of your airfield. That's cool. Yeah, there it is. New iPad Max 9. Sign me up. 100%, dude. 100%. All right, let's see. Flash is, there's no waypoint in Flash. It's just Lantern at 230 above 9, so that's the next waypoint. A Tipsy Penguin, that's the plan for their next update with the new EFB. Yeah, but I heard it's going to be like 3 months, so I'm not holding my breath necessarily. All right, let's do a recall for the descent check. Looks good. Minimums, altimeters, all that jazz is set. Got a flap 40. I have heard from my buddies that flap 40 is much nicer in the Max than it is in the NG. All right, we're going to close the speed window. Let the jet do whatever it wants to do for speed. Oh, that was one of the killers in Air France Flight 447. They flew into a tropical stationary thunderstorm. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so I can see that. So let's see, VNAV path is getting a little high, so we're going to use the old speed boards to get down here. Yeah, so 100%. I see what you're saying. So that basically the temperature went up, they lost performance, and that's why they stalled the airplane. That's a real thing. It's a threat. Southwest pilot, San Diego's your home airport. Well, sweet, dude. We're coming in right now. Gonna be flying over the old parking garage. All right, notify the cabin. This is where the VNAV and the iFly sort of gets wonky. We're gonna have to manually slow. Otherwise, it's going to bust 250 below 10. So, vert speed. Lantern above 9, so we'll have that made, no problem. This seems a little bit slick for full speed brakes, but, you know, possible. All right, back to VNAV. Yeah, path. All right, X-Men's above 7, and we'll say that they cleared us for the approach. So we can go into the legs page, put Cloman on Cloman. So you take Cloman, and in the real jet, you actually put it below. So you put it on NATO. Hey, which works in the iFly. Okay, and then hit execute. And then the final approach, or actually the minimums is what you use on the RNAV. So we'll dial this down to 700 feet. All right, there we go. So we are all set up. We've got LNAV, VNAV, mins are set, and the speed window we'll leave closed for right now. Yes, yeah, Southwest pilot. We're flying to max 8 because we had to change airplanes due to a hydraulic issue. All right, we'll close up the speed brakes. Turk, where'd you get the San Diego scenery, man? Is it any good? Dude, first time flying into it, so we'll see. We will see. I actually don't remember where I got this one, man. We'll try and remember. All right, speed intervene down to 210, and that's the final speed that's on the published plate. Yeah, you do, Gus. You do it on the legs page down here. So you don't have, you select the RMP and that displays right here. But on the legs page, you have to manually put in the RMP for whatever mins you're using. All right. Drag required. Crack the speed boards again. So we can see here this energy caret is saying now that we'll hit Cloman at 210 with the speed brakes. Man, San Diego's such a pretty town. My wife used to live right down here. Okay, that's close enough to 210. Get the speed brakes put away. Okay, and we're going to start the recording again. Get G's going again. Although I don't think I'm going to beat that last one. Okay, 165 on the radius to fixed leg. We'll start slowing to 180 here. Classic Jet Sim Pilot. Yes, we did try that coming out of LA. So if you want to wind the stream back just a little bit for our departure at LA, we did check and it did work on the Max CDU. So yes, we did. There's flap 1. Now, big thing here is we're not going to use the flaps as speed brakes. So, you know, we're putting out flap 1 when we intend to decelerate below the the up speed. All right, and then you can see that the one maneuver speed is above 180, which is where we want to go, so we're going to have to put out flap 5. And we'd like to put the speed brakes away once the flaps start coming out. Yeah, so I don't have a timestamp for you, but yeah, give her a look, and it's in there. It's right after we took off out of LA when we were turning on course. Southwest Pilot, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the content and you're not subscribed, please subscribe and drop a like if you're enjoying the content. I really appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to decel to 165, which is the flap 5 maneuver speed, so that's fine. There's some wing flex. Do a dead stick approach. No thanks, man. Not feeling the Sully today. But we are going to do full flaps. We are going to do full flaps. Southwest Pilot, I don't discuss that on stream. So you're welcome to ask, but not going to get an answer. Yeah, Alexander, the San Diego Ortho does look pretty good to me. I was actually just thinking that. We'll see how the San Diego airport is. Blackbird Controls coming in with a $5 super chat, man. I appreciate you, dude. Y'all can also super chat this legend of a dude just saying, buy the man a coffee. Hey, man, I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you for, thanks for all your support. Blackbird's been a day one subscriber of the channel, and I'm also rocking his 737 throttle quadrant, which is a 1-to-1 scale replica of the 737 throttles that I use every day at work. So, if you are looking for and I don't say that just because he's a friend of mine, I say that because if you're looking for a 1-to-1 scale representation of the 7.3 at an affordable price, Blackbird is the man. So go check him out. Gus, yeah, we can no longer tell everyone you're the chief pilot of the Breeze 757 fleet. I mean, you can, man. You can. I won't stop you. All right, we've got LNAV, VNAV. We're going down to 700 feet. The mist on this approach is, I think, 5,000? Oh, 2,500. Okay, so once we're below, we need to be 300 feet away from that. So once we're below 2,200, we can spin the altitude window up through our current altitude to 2,200 or 2,500 feet. So we'll say that we're clear to land, which is about this time. It's normal. Quick question: is the sequence of order the same for engine start and all the maxes like the? Yeah, engine 2 first, then engine 1, and that's so that you can ventilate the cabin while you start the number 1 engine. All right, we're going to start rolling back to approach speed here. So we're going to go flap 10. Okay, preload a little bit of drag. Go 275. There we go. And here we go. Gear coming down, flap 15. Bug to 15 speed. Arm the speed brakes.
2,500.
There they go. And continuous on the ignitions. All right. Flap 25. This is not a bug. This is the landing attitude modifier on the Max. It's a little over modeled, but it is a real thing. And what it does is it, if you're fast for the flap setting that you have selected, then the spoilers extend to basically keep you from hitting the nose wheel, so they kill enough lift such that the airplane touches down main wheels first. And Boeing could do that because of fly-by-wire. So what you'll find is that if you, as you slow to ref plus 5 knots, which we're at, it should be totally stowed. The way that iFly has it, here I'll demo it right here. iFly has it modeled incorrectly where you have to slow to ref. All right, there's 22, so we're going to spin this window up through. Nope, don't go VNAV altitude. Don't go VNAV altitude. Keep going. That shouldn't do that. There it is, back on the VNAV path. And then scroll that back up to 2,500 feet. We remain on the path. Okay, so you can see we're back at ref, and the spoilers are stowed. And now if we spin it up to ref plus 5, which is what we're actually targeting, you'll see that the spoilers extend a little bit. That is correct animation, but it should be stowed at ref plus 5. So, you know, they're 5 knots off on the implementation, but not terrible. Okay, we are all set. Landing gear is down, 3 green, flaps are 40 green, speed brake is armed. Where's the speed brake light on this airplane? There we go, speed brake is armed, start switches are continuous, landing check complete.
1,000.
All right, here we go. Autopilot is off. Okay, here we are. And we'll set the throttles here. Auto throttle is off. Just a little bit high. Going right over Waters' airplane spotter parking garage here.
$500.
Getting a little fast, squeaking some power off. I want to get low, not over that parking garage. I'm targeting right around 140 for rep plus 5. We're medium rare on the VASI, which is where I try to hit my stakes too, but I haven't been able to yet. All right, a little too much power.
100.
Now we're going to duck down below the glide slope here. We don't want to touch down short, but you don't want to float in San Diego either. Kind of aiming for that
50,
touchdown point.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Float City. All right, speed brake up. Oh, we slammed the nose. Not as pretty as the other one. Got a little slow hunting for the butter on that one. All right, 80 knots, stow the reverse. Cancel the auto brakes. We're looking for Bravo 8 to exit, which is this one coming up here. Turk, get out of here. This is butter smooth, man. What are you talking about? PowerPoint. Slam the nose like a true 737 pilot. Yeah, man. Everyone is so afraid of tail strikes in this airplane that they tend to slam the nose wheel down like it owes them money. All right, clearing the runway. We'll get the lights off. And San Diego tends to taxi you all the way down and around, so we'll get the start switches off, get the lights. Then you come down here to the flight directors, turn them off. Then you get down to the auto brake. Reset your EFIS if you want to. Speed brakes, flaps, radios, and transponder. All right. And the other guy is taxiing while you do all that, so you don't go off the side of the taxiway. All right. And then ground will normally flip you around here. You'll join this taxi line going the other way. Into this gate right here. Is it scary landing in San Diego in real life? No, dude, it's fun. It's a lot of fun actually. It's a real scenic approach, and yeah, no, it's I enjoy it very much. Okay, APU is on the bus. Skystream, how do you know what to set the MCP to? That is a very That's a big question, man. There's, I mean, depending on what different modes of or times, phases of flight you're in, there's all kinds of things. If you're curious, I do have a 737 tutorial series on my YouTube channel that you can check out that might answer your questions. Oh, hey, look at this. We have a little marshaller dude. Look at that. Hey. That's neat. All right, parking brake is set. What? There we go. Parking brake set, brake set. Let them up and swap them, chop them, and cut it off. Okay, so we will watch the replay. That little guy is super cool, man. I'm stoked about that. All right, stop recording here. Pete's. Holy crap, man. $20 super chat, man. Thanks. I enjoyed the stream. Dude, thank you. You're very generous, man. I really appreciate it, man. That's very generous for hearing me blather for a couple hours, man. I really appreciate it, dude. Glad you're enjoying the content. And if you have any, as always, guys, this goes for everybody. If you have any content that you want to see in the stream, jump over in the Discord and there's a suggestions channel. Drop a suggestion in chat. I actually do look at that. A hydraulic failure at night was actually one of the things in here, so that's why I did it. So, but yeah, Pete, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you participating and supporting the channel. That's very generous, dude. Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot. All right, let's replay this. We're gonna just replay the landing here.
2,500.
And then we'll do the full replay.
Airspeed mode.
All right, here we go. We got gear down. Blackbird is a family channel, my dude. That's funny though. All right, let's see what the pack saw here. I love this approach into San Diego, man. Like flying by all the apartment buildings. You got Naval Air Station North Island, where I did a lot of flying when I was a naval aviator, and the carrier piers. Man, I spent so many years of my life sitting on these carriers, getting ready to deploy, watching the airplanes land in San Diego, going someday. And now I get to do the opposite, which is very lucky. Very lucky. All right, here we go. We're over the threshold. That characteristic big shot of power over the threshold in the 7.3. A little bit of a high flare. And not terrible. 150 feet a minute. And then slam the nose down like it owes you money. Alrighty. Well, let's see how that looked from outside, shall we? Alright. We're going to pause this. We're going to go back. Skystream, you're welcome, man. I enjoy doing it. Really enjoy doing it. Alright. Flap 40. There's water in the parking garage right there. Little dive down. It's a little too aggressive. Oh, Jay Queen, you're kidding me. Yeah, a little bit of a high flare right there. Flared about 5 feet high, and then just kind of plunked it down. So, not bad, but not good. Blackbird Controls. This is, I don't think you can get this one anymore. This is BMW AM World or something like that. So, which I don't think you can get anymore. Actually, it was just sitting at on my shared drive. Jay Queen, you've sat on those same carriers. No kidding, man. I wonder if we, oh, John C. sent this? Okay, nice. I was on the, what was I on? The Vincent, the Reagan, and the Lincoln. So, different boats. But my buddy deployed on the Stennis, so you may have deployed with him. He was in VFA 41. Cam, I don't know if you saw it, but we tried your fix question in the Max, and it does work in the iFly Max. So rewind the stream to the departure out of LA when we started making the southbound turn out of LA, and we checked it out. So, all right, we'll watch one more from the passenger seat into Oh, okay, 01 to 04, so yeah, you predate him a little bit. Man, do you guys still have Tomcats? Yeah, so you predate him a little bit, but still, super cool, man. Thanks for your service. Appreciate it. Alrighty. Yeah, so this is super cool, man. Going into San Diego, you're normally flap 40 because the long displaced threshold, and then you know, just the beautiful scenery on the way in. Southwest Pilot, we are done for today, man. This is the second leg, and I'm starving, man. I'm gonna go get some food and hang out with my kiddo a little bit. So we are done for the day. But hey, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, VF211, man, fighting checkmates. Dig it. With checkmates and Hornets, but that was after they had transitioned. So super cool, man. It's awesome. Oh, landing altitude. That is on your flight plan, and you basically just look at the the approach plate elevation of the airport, and you set it to as close as you can to that. So, do I do John Wayne? I did when I was flying the Airbus, but I don't in the 737. So, cool. Alrighty, guys. Well, that is it for us today. We're going to do one more replay of the full RNAV from passenger view, but we will see you guys on the next one. So please subscribe, drop a like, and we'll see you in the Discord. Thanks for everyone who dropped a super chat, dropped a like, and participated in the conversation. So thanks a bunch, y'all. We'll see you on the next one.